Messages between and among members around January 6th, celebrating the Capitol attack and angry over the election loss of then-President Trump. Jurors also heard from two former Proud Boys members who testified for prosecutors. One said the Proud Boys saw themselves as the tip of the spear in keeping President Biden from taking office, but that they did not see any specific plan to storm the Capitol, and that while they celebrated the Capitol riot, they didn't see anyone explicitly encourage the use of force.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The White House says President Biden still has confidence in the Fed chief amid criticism over the Fed's handling of rate hikes. The central bank's next move is due on Wednesday, with recent bank failures now part of the backdrop. The Dow up more than 300 at the bell. America's listening to Fox News.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup,
including working with SBA or GITA.
Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
The new Subway series includes one of the most craveable sandwiches of them all, the Subway Club.
Number 12, the Turkey Cali Club is the best with avocado, turkey, and bacon.
The best should come with bacon, turkey, and ham. That's my number 10, the All-American Club.
Number 11, the Subway Club is a proven classic that comes with ham too, plus turkey and Angus roast beef.
I see. Let's start over. Let's talk cheese in the Subway series.
I'm still gonna win this. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Police and school officials in Texas have just given an update on a school shooting that happened early today on the first day back from spring break at a Dallas area high school. They've just confirmed that one student who was shot has died. Another injured student was hit by debris from the shooting, and the suspected gunman who's been in custody is a third student. For now, the investigation continues. Don't just talk to Russia's president. That message from the White House to China's leader.
We encourage President Xi to play a constructive role by speaking with President Zelensky, which he has not done since Russia launched this invasion. Because China, quite frankly, we believe, should hear directly from the Ukrainians and not just from the Russians.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, as the U.S. remains skeptical of a Chinese peace plan for Ukraine. President Xi visiting Moscow and meeting with Russia's President Putin, the two calling each other dear friends, as the U.S. also urges China not to provide lethal aid for Russia's war in Ukraine. President Biden pledging again to work to free all Americans unjustly detained.
I'm very glad to say that just today, an American aid worker, Jeff Woodkey has been released after spending 6 years hostage at a terrorist group in Afghanistan.
The release of Jeff Woodkey with Niger's help was announced earlier today. No details, though, on how freedom was secured. The cast of Ted Lasso visiting the White House to promote mental health, including the star of the Apple TV Plus hit, Jason Sudeikis.
We encourage everyone, and this is a big theme of the show, is like to check in with your neighbor, your coworker, your friends, your family, and ask how they're doing, and listen sincerely.
Sudeikis also encouraging anyone who needs help to ask for it, either from a professional or a loved one. His character in Ted Lasso suffers panic attacks. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Take Care recently moved to its new location at the Century Plaza in Tamuning. Take Care customer service, administration, claims, membership accounting services, FHP Home Health and Hospice, and FHP Vision Center are all now located at the top floor of the Century Plaza in Tamuning. If you need any assistance, please call customer service at 671-647-3526. Email customer service at takecareasia.com or visit takecareasia.com. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
After a long wait, the biggest, juiciest, most flavorful chicken makes its return. The Circle K 3-pound rotisserie chicken is back. Get 3 whole pounds of perfectly seasoned chicken for all your family feasts. And for a limited time, pick up a rotisserie chicken and a Pepsi Family 2-liter soda, the perfect dinner combo, for only $19.95. Available at select Circle K stores. Swing by and take yours home today. Circle K, take it easy.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. It's 6:06 on Tuesday, March 21. I'm Donna De Jesus with a look at your local news on The Point. AG Doug Moylan has responded to the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, or NACDL's, characterization of his letter to Speaker Therese Terlahi, in which he opposed Bill 33. The bill was introduced by Senator Roy Kinata, aiming to ensure public defenders receive the same pay raise as prosecutors. Earlier this month, the NACDL asserted that Moylan was stacking the odds by leveraging his power as the AG to gain legal advantages at the expense of the average citizen. The AG points out that institutions are created and regulated by the Guam legislature, and since he is not part of the legislative branch, he can't stack the odds because he doesn't pass laws. Moylan claims the NACDL's hit piece is directed to the wrong person. Regarding Bill 33, Moylan noted a problem he believes exists, saying it undermines what the former Guam legislature expressly decided, which was a 6% pay raise for all government attorneys and 15% only for criminal prosecutors. The AG says it has nothing to do with pay equity, adding that the legislature determined that criminal prosecutors are more important toward protecting crime victims. Meanwhile, despite Governor Lilian Guerrero's repeated calls for the legislature to hold a special session on Senator Josan Augustin's Bill 24, which would appropriate $23 million to back a 22% raise for GovGuam employees, Guam senators said no 4 times. Leon Guerrero questioned why some senators were avoiding a vote on the bill. Last week, the Committee on Rules skipped Bill 24, which San Agustin motioned to be placed on the agenda. On Sunday, the governor called a special session set for 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Instead, the legislature moved to schedule Bill 24 for today, following a motion made by Senator Chris Barnett, who said the body is pending an emergency session to deal with very urgent matters relative to Guam's public schools. Senator Telo Taitagui noted that the governor's letter calling a special session did not have a supporting document, making the call invalid. The governor expressed her frustration with the senator's inaction, saying it was inorganic, violates the separation of powers, and cannot be sustained. We'll have more news after this.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Congressman Jim Moylan has chimed in after former President Donald Trump took to social media saying he's expected to be arrested this week for a sex scandal involving giving hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Moylan says there's a discussion and a legal process ongoing. He remarked that the Republican Party is strong and united through their leadership and Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The congressman says they are still moving forward with important issues, which are the economy, Biden's budget process, and how to reduce the deficit. If Trump is indicted, it would be the first time a former American president is charged with a crime. Meanwhile, the Western Pacific Fishery Management Council will be holding a Fishers Forum at the Guam Museum next Thursday, March 30, from 6 to 9 in the evening. The council was established to combat overfishing, reduce bycatch, and safeguard fish populations and habitats. During the forum, the council will be focusing on bottom fish, which are fish that live near the bottom of a body of water, including reef fish, mahi-mahi, skipjack tuna, blue marlin, and big-eye scad, locally known as atulai. There will be appearances from the National Marine Fisheries Service, U.S. Coast Guard, and the Guam Department of Agriculture's Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources. For more information, call 483-1904 or email info@wpcouncil.org. And those are your top stories right here on The Point. Now here's Ray with your weather.
I'm sorry I can't do the weather right now. I'm fact-checking the governor's
What's
five-page letter to the legislature. What's that?
Was that her request on Sunday or a new
no,
one?
this is the Veruca Salt.
Oh, the one.
I want it now, Daddy.
Oh,
5-page
when
letter.
only 4 people came or something like that. 4 people showed up.
I think enough for a quorum. I'm trying to remember when they did the roll call yesterday. But they had enough people, to have a legislative quorum. But apparently the Republicans realizing what a monumental waste of time it would be to show up. I think they all hung out at Shirley's or something for the morning. I don't know. But I'm going through. I was about page and a half through the 5 pages that she's sent over, and I was scrolling through it. You can take a look at it on Canada if you want to. And it was already in the first couple of paragraphs. We've already got the soaring language, and then on page 2. They quote Martin Luther King Jr.
No.
You have to do it now,
What
for
do you
God's
expect?
sakes. They put Martin Luther, quote from Martin Luther King Jr.
That's
in
a
this
jugular,
document.
Ray.
We can't ignore it now. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. At the outset, I cannot help but express my disappointment that certain members of the legislature have preyed on the vulnerability of our own people, selling them fool's gold and the promise of a land return so so-called leaders will never be able to deliver, knowing that by the time the people realize they've been misled, the mistake will be too late to reverse. Oh,
God,
no.
that's so good,
But
Ray.
I know. The federal government's control over certain lands on Guam is an open wound for many families on our island who believe their ancestral land was taken unjustly, without consent, and in some cases without compensation.
Yeah.
Their despair over this perceived injustice has caused many of these families to turn to politicians who peddle promises to return their land. However empty those promises are, I cannot and do not blame these families for their broken hearts, but I must condemn the shameless exploitation of their pain for political gain and the pompous bluster of certain politicians seeking to advance their political brand. How do you say that? Taimamalo.
Wow, that was very Cronkite of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to have to wipe things down because I don't know. I think Carlo wrote this, and maybe Carlo he subjects himself to a thing. There's a certain style of writing where
I was going to say, how do you know he wrote it?
because we quoted Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
He's sitting back in his chair right now, twiddling his
looking
thumbs.
for an analogy. There's some kind of analogy that we can. It'll be analogy.
Brilliant, man.
School bus. So I think he writes in a certain way. So like in that paragraph there, he says, "How many times can I use the letter P?" I've got to make the letter P. So it's like there's a number in his head, and he's got to fold the thing in, because you take a look at it. It was very plosive. Very plosive. It's an energetic letter. Plea, political pundits, peril, that kind of thing. Poo-poo. Guess I can do the weather now. I'll get that out of my system. It says here, isolated showers, partly sunny skies, and highs near 87 degrees. East wind 7 to 11 miles an hour. Scattered showers, mostly cloudy skies tonight. See an overnight lows of about 77 degrees. This would be much more better if there were P's in it. Could you see if we can do tomorrow when we do the weather, if we can put a lot of words with the letter P in it? It's just that much more powerful.
I'll talk to the office.
So there we go. Partly sunny skies and highs near 86 degrees. East winds 13 to 17 miles an hour. Gusting as high as 21 tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy skies, isolated showers. Thursday, finally, says grill marks on Thursday. Mostly sunny skies. Highs near 87 degrees. And the legislature and the governor's office will still be fighting. Heat index over the next couple of days is going to be 92 degrees. Sunrise this morning is going to be at 6:25. Sunset is at 6:32. Can we call sunrise first for first round number one?
It's your show, man.
We can, right?
Yeah.
I can do that.
I'll be here.
Ding, 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 ding. Round number one, 6:25. Who's going to send out the next press release? That's what we all want to know. And then what's it going? Who can we quote?
How many people write stuff over there?
Oh, I probably 2 or 3. You know what? I think they start with Chat GPT. I think they use that AI stuff, and that nails out the first one. Yeah,
that would be good.
Look, I'm gonna fight with the legislature over pay raises.
At least an option, yeah.
What can I say?
Something Martin Luther King.
Add a
Small
quote.
island. Everybody hates each other.
Dramatic quote.
Yes. A dramatic quote. 5 pages minimum. 6:15 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Lots and lots to get to today. But there's the weather, news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific See, you feel it? Strong word. Banking on the Pacific for 68 years.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
How am I supposed
We're
to
on
get
the
to the
clock,
end of this
man.
thing? All right, fine. Portions of the program here. The really good stuff's brought to you by our friends over at APL. American President Lines, a global CP. American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
The whole thing later. You know, it's not a big deal today. It's even though the thing with the Eagles field, we were waiting for something to happen yesterday. I didn't think she was going to let it lapse into law. I figured there was going to be a veto, and it sets things up now for the veto override. And all of this happens while behind the scenes, allegedly, Doug Moylan is supposed to be reviewing the lease for content, as to form and content, kind of a procedural thing. But the Office of the Attorney General has to do it. Although now I'm reading up on a couple of places in the newspapers where we're unsure about the actual process. Does it come to him signed, or is he the first signator on it? Has Admiral Nicholson is his name? Has he signed off on it?
Benjamin.
And I don't know. Is there a copy of it laying around somewhere for anybody to look at? And the answer is no. Apparently, in one of the newspapers, Nicholson is quoted as saying, "No, you'll see it after it's signed." And I go, "Okay, wait, excuse me, hold on. Is this not a public document of one kind or another? Is there anything secret in there? Are there any surprises built into it? We'll know what's in it after the thing gets signed. But trust that it has been negotiated and vetted at the highest levels of government, and they're proud of this document. Okay, then why can't we see it? Because you're not allowed. You're not smart enough to comprehend or understand what might be in this document for the hospital. So I think that's going to be, I don't know, is that fight number one for today, or are we still fighting yesterday's battles? And I'm not sure. We'll find out as soon as we can start assembling the Power Rangers here on the radio to find out where we are today, the status of the education bills. And if you ask me, they're absolutely correct. The way it should have been done this way at the legislature is anything that's coming from outside the legislature that doesn't have to do with the safe, humane, sanitary education of our children, forget about it. We've heard enough from the teachers, we've heard enough from the parents, we've heard enough from the students, and something has got to be done. And we've got three measures that we can work on today at the legislature, send to the governor's office, and for her signature and approval, and then we can get to work like now on the issues that are facing the schools. All right, so that's number one. That's the most important thing. The governor doesn't think so. The governor thinks that these pay raises are the big pickle enchilada here. That's what she's been going after. So yesterday, they began what I would refer to as a harassment campaign over the legislature. They said over the weekend. hey, tell you what, you guys are going into your special session at 2. How about we get together at 10 and do this pay raise thing? All right, come on, pay raise. We all look good, win-win. 22%. Everybody gonna get happy. We'll all have the same bumper stickers on the car. It's gonna be good. We'll be able to eat in the fancy restaurants, top of the Tsubaki Tower. Down at and we'll drop our crumbs down to the little people down at the bottom. Yes. Look up on us. Look up to us. We are your fancy elites. Hunger Games. So they decided they were going to intercept the legislature special session at 10 o'clock. And I watched at 10 o'clock when they did, and there's the speaker and called on Joe West to dispense with the boring parts. And then Chris Barnett got up and did the boring read of the governor's letter and then called for a recess. Will Parkinson objected, and then they put it to a floor vote, and everybody agreed. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Everybody?
Yeah, and we'll come back later. We're gonna recess until our session at 2, at which point people over at the governor's office, I'm sure they begrudgingly went to her and said, because I'm sure she's sitting there going, and did they pass my pay raise? My pay raise is passed, right? That's all I want to hear. And they said, no, I'm sorry, Governor. They did what Ray Gibson said they were going to do. They gavelled in and gavelled out. That won't do. That won't do.
Everybody out of the office.
Go send him another notice. I want another special session. What was the next time? It was 10 o'clock in the morning was the first one. What did she want to get together? Their session was at 2, so she wanted one at 1, right? And they did the same thing, gavel in, gavel out, and then they did the same thing, I think, at 1:38, 1:30, 1:44. They just gavel in and out and in and out until they were, I think, finally sent the message to the governor's office that, not today, Gov, not today. So they're supposed to go back in at some point today. And what's going to take place, what's going to happen, I don't know. To what degree are the Republicans going to get off the bench and jump in? And deal with it. I don't know, but there's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered at some point. And I'll try to get around to it. I really will. In the meantime, I've got in my head just an incredible number of smart-ass comments that I get to make about all of this. One of them is, as I walked in this morning, ratings gold. All of this is ratings gold. You might be wondering, what do you mean, Ray? I said, this is awesome. We've got Doug Moylan back at the Attorney General's office. There's a story about Doug Moylan in every newspaper since he has taken the oath of office. You realize that? We've done an interview with this guy, twice, 3 times a week since he took the oath of office.
He's connectable.
He is connectable, and I think words that come out of his mouth resonate well with the listeners of the radio station. Chris Barnett. Long career in radio, television, and media, and now he finds himself over at the legislature, but consequential. Oh my God! And you might be wondering, to what do we attribute his new superpowers? I believe it is the Sinahi of strength that he is wearing.
Yeah,
it's on the cover of both newspapers. It's the Sinahi of strength. Beware, kneel before him. Because everybody likes him, too.
Did he suck the power out of Roy's Sinahi?
It might have. I don't know. I think they're going to have Sinahi battles out there, you know? I'll Sinahi you. No, I'll Sinahi you. But that's the kind of thing that's you carry that Sinahi into battle, and you will not lose. You could not possibly lose. You will not be vanquished. You will not be conquered while you're wearing the Sinahi of strength. And today, Chris Barnett is wearing. Yesterday, Chris Barnett was wearing the Sinahi of strength, and we'll see if again today it gives them the strength to be able to, in the very least, go back to the governor of Guam on this pay raise bill and decide, you know what, maybe now is it's an interesting time to have a conversation about a pay raise for employees in the government of Guam. But hey, let's figure out how we're going to pay for the school stuff first. We had a lot of stuff that needs to get done in the schools, and there have been numerous pledges and at least 3 measures that have been introduced in the legislature that all talk about helping the business community with the LEAP program. And the question that I have now is, if we do the pay raises and we fund all the repairs that need to be done in the school, will there be enough money to fund these LEAP programs that all of the people in virtually everybody in the government of Guam is patting themselves on the back saying, okay, we're going to look out for you guys again. We're going to help the business community. We're going to give you a hand up there, members of the business community. And don't forget that when it's time for us to do some fundraising in the next election, all right? 6:25 in the morning on The Ray Gibson Show. As you can already tell, frisky about the day, yesterday's events and what could be unfolding before us today. So let's get to some of that after we unfold these guys here.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
It's true, and we all do, and we're all very, very happy to be together, proud of each other's kids, all that stuff. Now 6 in the morning. Number one, big man Rico Blancaflor. Now,
good morning, big man.
Might not have actually been the first one, but he was there when I finally got around to opening up the Facebook here. Dan Rosal, number 2. Rudy Rodolfo, the original Burger King, chimes in on number 3. Is it Wednesday yet? No, tomorrow. Guaidza y Whopper for Mess tomorrow all the way through the month. All right, good news. Dennis Larson, the B-Man's there, asking Brad Wood, did you get your honey and shirts from Porky's?
Morning, Wood.
Is Porky's the new distribution center? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. I've always found that the wildlife, whenever I've been to Porky's, is beyond compare and beyond anything else I've really ever seen on Guam at any time in my life. Bunker Menno is there. Dale Audette, Buenos and Hafade, Pat Saho, Tim Zedeker's online, Cousin Troy, and thank you so much, Cousin Troy. I could not find on the Legislative Communications page the letter from the governor. Basically the 5-page veto letter to Therese Terlai. And so I had to scrounge that up from my cousin Troy. Appreciate you being up early to help me out, bro. Dennis Larson, the B-Man says, fix the schools, not the greed of the government. Magandan Umaga says, beautiful Sarita Garen. Dennis Benzer says, it violates the separation of powers. This demonstrates the separation of powers. What is she smoking? Keena McCausland. I don't know. You know, maybe it's the same stuff that some of our friends were smoking on the beach on Sunday.
I'll try some of that.
I think I can still smell it in my hair. Keena McCausland's there. Donna Mila Martinez. Colin Clark. It's just missing that chawed accent, Ray. Well, I'll try a little bit later on. Might have to use some voice scripts because her voice is up there real high when she gets excited.
Yeah.
You know? Same AI wrote that right on Am Tomoru, and I wear fokai on my chest, is Mike Grace Bloss. Jerome McDonald online. Joe Et Cruz, for such a small island, we have big problems. Absolutely, as has been noted many times. Eric Chong is there. Sarita says, a beautiful Taco Tuesday. I was trying to find a way this morning to make you feel better about where we are in the week.
Maganda.
I know, but so it occurred to me, if we count today as the second work week of the week, which it's like wow, five is way out there. It makes it sound like that. So yesterday we were only at 1, and today we're just starting out on 2, and it's just kind of demotivational. So I thought maybe I'd change our perspective. We're 20% through the week. Is that better? Tomorrow will be 60% through the week. What do you say?
Oh, man, I was about to give up on life until you, Ray.
Thank you so much. Donna Mila says, why are we looking at leasing property that we don't own when Hospital Point is still available? And we definitely own that. Those are the questions that we'll learn the answers to, Donna Mila, after we finally get three names on the document, and it's all signed. The governor's signature, the admiral's signature, and Doug Moylan's signature. When we get all that, then it will all be revealed to us. Everything will be revealed to us. It'll show how silly and foolish we were to disagree with her once we get to see the magic that is infused into this lease. Jason Military Auto Sales online. I got, let me see, Rico B, Mike Grace Bloss, Francie Solis, Bunkers there. Let me see. Pay raise, what? Not stones for a friend, says JP. That's John Palau. Let me see, Colin Clark. Doug Moylan just cleaning house, weeding out the complacency and the idiocy from the AG's office. Okay, that's not the way Peter Santos sees it. I'll might read to you some of his comments here this morning about the wheels coming off the bus. I don't know. Dennis, $600 million is gone. Joe Et Cruz, Cuxka, see Jay Gutman. I support the Rays. No, bro, we still in the bill to support the public schools. Keena McCausland and Jerome McDonald. Louis Hortillosa says it is worrisome to hear that GDOE is using ARPA money to pay for utilities. What happens after the federal money that former Congressman St. Nicholas had worked hard for our island? What happens when that runs out? We're getting communication. I say we because Cousin Troy has included me in the communications between him and Doug. No, sorry, not Doug Moylan. Other one, Jim Moylan in Washington, D.C. says they're looking into it. Looking to see if there might be something can be done by way of an extension. Francis Duffy, Mike Grace Bloss, what's that? Ed Buendicha, the Bandit is online. Lonnie Salas. Hey, look, Brad Wood's here.
Morning, Wood.
And we'll see if there's a whole bunch of other people that are going to be chiming in here this morning. So you might be wondering if is there anything else on the table of contents, and the answer is maybe not. It's kind of hard to sort out here this morning because there's really nothing else that happened yesterday in terms of news and headlines. But I did get this on the meme machine. Oh, by the way, 888-825-888-TALK is the telephone number. Real Joe gets that. Meme machine is online. 7978255 is the way that you can send me all kinds of stuff. Now I got this from Ned Sco, and it is a picture of a guy. I'm in this picture somewhere.
Oh wow!
I'm in this picture. I know.
I would have never guessed.
It took me a second to find out. First of all, I had to look where the pretty girls were, and I said, "Oh, there's Kathy Leon Guerrero from back in the day," and that's where I was next to her, drinking a couple of beers. Willie Jamero, Ernie Galito, might be a couple other folks from Pacific Color Press.
How come your eyes? Have you been crying there?
What's that?
Your eyes are red.
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that kind of after picture. Party. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I must be like 23, 24 in this picture.
That's the old Budweiser can.
And this is one where you had to open it with the church key, right? And then in this picture, I'm already doing that thing with my eyes, Oh,
yeah.
The thing like this.
I see it.
Where I do this with my eyes, Yeah, whatever it's called. I had a very good life. I'm never, ever going to complain about anything. So Donna D is going to take care of news and headlines. Like I said, we'll see what we, in fact, but let's do one now, 6:32. We'll jump into news and headlines here and find out what's going to be the big deal the rest of the hour.
After a 72-hour search, rescue units had no luck finding 31-year-old Dylan Cruz. The vessel he last sailed before going missing last Thursday is now docked at the Agana Boat Basin. Cruz was reported missing around 6 o'clock that evening. Search crews located his spear gun, but had no luck finding other signs of him. By Sunday evening, the search was suspended. He's remembered by the local fishing community as a passionate and seasoned waterman. And a long-term lease for military property at Eagles Field is currently being reviewed by the AG's office. Governor Leon Guerrero says the agreement is a lifetime opportunity to work with the federal government to build a new medical campus there. She has asked several federal agencies, including the military, to provide grants to help build the new hospital. And National Honor Society students from 8 Guam high schools plan to host a community service event to assist nonprofit organizations or other service groups on the island. This project is unique because it involves all members of the society, regardless of what high school they're from. The students recently learned leadership skills and advice on what they can do for nonprofits. And those are your local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
So did you say that the minimum grades for the NHS was like 90?
Yeah.
When did they change that?
What was it before?
You had to be smarter than the teacher.
Yeah, it was higher standards.
Was it? I mean, yeah. I'm kind of surprised that 90's a B, dude.
Never saw it myself, so I'm not going to be very, very critical. But
78's a C.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh my God, that's so low.
Still passing. 70 is still passing.
Still passing.
That's what we say. It's still a W. It's over 70. It's still passing.
That's me for every social studies class. Like, I just need to pass.
Yeah. So 90 is the thing. So I guess that opens things up for a lot more kids. But I guess. But what does that mean for the truly smart and the truly gifted kids? Are they going to stop trying? Because I worked my tail off to get into NHS, and now anybody with a B can get in. Right. I quit trying. Socialism is wonderful, isn't it? 6:35 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. As I'm fond of saying, lots to get to. We'll find out what else we're going to get around to after these.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Guam Regional Medical City was awarded Advanced Primary Stroke Center certification from the Joint Commission. What does this mean? It means our neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and a team of the finest neurological doctors to treat stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC, reflecting our commitment to providing safe and quality patient care. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu, or to make an appointment, call 671-633-GRMC.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. The largest selection of your seafood savories are back at KFC this Lent season. Popcorn shrimp, the wasabi fish sandwich, shrimp and crab Kellogg's wrap, and my personal favorite, KFC shrimp burger. Or treat the family with my breaded shrimp, fish fillets, and the seafood twister. The Colonel's famous original recipe, extra crispy and grilled chicken, are always available too. KFC, your place for Lent. It's finger-licking good.
It's 6:36 in the Ray Gibson Show, and as we first like to take a look at the location for Optimus Prim, for those of you that are wondering where it called its home last night, it is now back at the Port Authority of Guam. Optimus Prim Tower on the move has gone from the ITC building area down there, so you can now make a U-turn again at the ITC building. All right.
How many trips is that now?
Wait,
82?
hold the music. They've actually only got a few more left.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the driver's name is a guy named Adrian. I'm sorry, he's Australian, so it's Idran. Idran. And so I saw Idrian the other day, and big man. So I got a big man hug from him, and I said, "How's it going?" He says, "Just having a blast, mate. Having a good time driving it around. I'm totally destroying the transmission, but I'm before we're all done, clutch shift, right?" But anyway, he was telling me about how few they have, and the plans for Optimus Prim. Because when it's done, what?
Yeah.
I said. Remember, I said when it was done, we'll give it to Mayor Jess Alec, and he can use that to drive kids around in the neighborhood, right? Like the little trolley train, right? Yeah, but apparently it's got worked. Apparently it's one of those things where when it's done here, it will go somewhere else and do something similar, and then after that, it will do the same thing and the same thing until it finally it drives itself into the ocean. In a fit of suicidal rage. But that's the cool thing about it now. So just a few more of these to go, guys, and we'll be all out of this. And like I said, you'll be able to make that U-turn over at the ITC building. But a question, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Among all of us, that from time to time we'll go, wow, that line in front of the ITC building, it stretches back forever. How many of you, try to make that decision? All right, here's what I'll do is let me get to the outside lane. I'll make the turn at the ITC building and hang a Louis over in front of the carpet store.
That's our secret, Ray.
Okay. Does it really save you any time?
Yeah,
Are you sure? Does it really save you? What? Or does it? Somebody needs to do a study on this.
Yeah, you know what I used to do? I used to time it, right? And I think a lot of the times, I don't know about that intersection, but a lot of the times when you want to do something like that, you just want to feel the car moving. But then it really isn't.
You're not actually saving any time. Because you're gonna get to the intersection and look at the car that would have been in front of you, make the turn to Gibson's, right? So
same feel
question.
like you won.
But you feel
like you got something.
I'm still a winner. It's a W. I'm putting that down as a W in my column. Look at me. I'm smart. Best driver ever on Guam. Now the other one is at the airport intersection. Say it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're heading up Route 10 towards the airport because you got to get to Route 16, right?
Yeah.
All right. So there's always a line of traffic stretching back to Home Depot. Do you go all the way and pretend like you're picking somebody up at the airport? And then go to the other? Do you go all the way? Do you use the airport as a shortcut to get you past that Vale of Tears and then back on the road? You got how many times you got to? I gotta get past this gas truck. I gotta get past this track. You know what I mean?
Cheaters.
So is that a useful detour for you, or is, as we say, you just feel like you're moving, so you put it down as a W? Anyway, 20 minutes away from the top of the hour. Let me get for real now. Right now, traffic here on the point. Let me just get this up on the screen because I think I like to use the magic of technology. Not a whole lot happening up in the north end of town. I think I'll leave that there. A little bit of traffic up around Ukadu. People over there waking up, going, "Hey man, where's that big red thing?" It went home. I already talked about that. Intersection of 1 and 3, actually looking pretty good right now. A little bit of traffic over at 1 and 16, 16 all the way to 8, 10, and 16. Running very, very clear this morning. You'll probably see more traffic on Route 10 at the intersection of 10 and 15 than you will anywhere else right now. 4 and 10, a little bit busy right now. Not entirely sure. See a little bit of traffic around the downtown Agutnia area. And then scooching down all the way to Big Navy in Sumai, where it actually looks pretty good. So go and spend some time with Admiral Nicholson at some point today and say, no, really, what's in that lease, dude? Can you show me? It's 6:41 in the Ray Gibson Show. I'll be right back.
It's March Madness month on GTA. That means big discounts and awesome giveaways. Come into GTA today and get the all-new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra with a 200 megapixel camera and advanced photography. Your selfies will look amazing day or night. Purchase a Samsung Galaxy S23 series smartphone and get on our best unlimited plan for as low as $65 a month. Plus get a free $200 Payless gift card when you open a new line. Terms and conditions apply. Offer good while supplies last. Smartphone month at GTA. We start with you.
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
Maniluhod and maninaw. Call si Ray Gibson. Tayo mamalo. That's how you know that's a serious letter. That's not the only phrase they used in Chamorro on that one. Sorry,
it's an open wound.
I want to take out the phrase that they used and put in one of mine from when from when we were boys. All right, portions of the program brought to you by Nissan, and with Nissan you also get Infinities. The 2023 models on the lot right now. 3 years of Infinity premium care with every Infinity purchase. Integrated maintenance program providing a suite of benefits. I think Carlo wrote this too. Oil changes, tar rotations, inspections, brake fluid changes, and in-cabin air filter replacements. And I saw that. I said, "You're kidding me." And they said, "No. The Infinities, they got one of these things in the back. It's an in-cabin air filter, and every once in a while it gets clogged up. Take it out when it's time and put in a new one." And I'm going, wait, there's an air filter for the air conditioning system in the car. You know what? You're probably in shock and disbelief as well. So ask for a test drive for an Infinity today at Nissan.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
They should have put that in there somewhere. Por favor. Por favor. There's like I said, other things that are floating around in my head. I'm just trying to remember whether they can be used on the radio.
Yeah.
Let me just check here. Francis Dovey, Mike Grace, Jerome McDonald saying it's the first day of spring. The first day of spring. Gardeners will be happy to know that the rain has not stopped. Skies remain cloudy for the next 3 days. Temps are in the low 60s. This is the weather in the States. Tonight, temperatures will be in the low 50s. Humidity up around 92. Saying good morning. Ray, Donna D, Real Joe, and Jerry Roberts. Sarita, thank you, Jerome McDonald, for the green tea. Did she get some too?
Yes, she did.
Oh, how did she get that? I didn't know that she was on the green tea list. Okay, gotcha. Donna Mila says Hospital Point is within the governor's neighborhood. Remember when she protested the building of the foster home in that neighborhood? The betterment for others is not her priority. Will not be surprised that a loan is pending for a business to lease the hospital property, and her bank would benefit. It's this conspiracy theories starts early in the morning.
Gaslighting her, Ray.
Alex Appleby online. Let me see. Sonny Lujan, Luis Hortillosa again. Gov Guam should pay the well-deserved merit bonuses first before they implement the 22% pay raise. Bunker, I can remember how many times I did that traffic trip. It's true. Okay. 888-8255-888-TALK. As usual, we're now just waiting on hearing from some of the movers and shakers and headline makers in and out of the government of Guam and the legislature. As you can imagine, my list of folks that I want to talk to is rather star-studded and elite here this morning, because they are the ones that are going to give me an idea of where things are going to be going today, what the big news is going to end up being. How did we do yesterday with a couple of the measures for education? My understanding is that a couple of them are already in the second reading, and they'll work on the third one today. Just how much time are they going to give the governor's request for this special session? As I said, there was a whole bunch of them. If you go to the communications page at the legislative website, which I know you're excited about doing. This is the first thing I check.
Sorry,
I go to
no
the legislative communications website. I want to see what's happening there first before I check the newspapers or the Ray Gibson Show or Candid or anything like that. But take a look at it, and you'll see all of the different calls to session that they put in there yesterday, and to zero success whatsoever. And you could just, as I said, just imagine now the level of annoyance every time. Like Crystal had to go back to the governor's office and say, now they did it again, man. They gavelled in and they gavelled out. They're not giving us the time of day. This after, 2 terms of the legislature where basically she ran the shop. Legislature did her bidding, and only every once in a while kind of put up a little kabuki show to make it look like they were, going to suggest that they were independent. But otherwise, we're impotent to her needs, right? Yeah, that's a fun word. I like to use it every once in a while. 6:46 in the morning. It shocks the boys. Who's on the phone?
Doug Moylan. Sorry. He's the toughest AG on crime. Doug Moylan.
As I said, 6:47, it's ratings gold having him back in the Attorney General's office. There will always be a reason to talk about it, and there will always be a reason to get him on the phone. Good morning, General Moylan. Wait, sorry. Spencer, I forgot to push the button. Good morning, General Moylan.
Good morning, Ray.
Sorry. I don't know where to begin. There's so many opportunities for conversation here. And I suppose I'll start with the very first one that's in my head because it's based on yesterday's headlines. Was the legislature acting within the law and within the authority granted them by the Organic Act to blow off the governor?
In which way, Ray? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that one.
Oh, well,
the governor?
In the way where the governor was calling for special sessions and basically the legislature was saying, yeah, when we get around to it.
Yeah, when I was legislative counsel, the Organic Act obviously provides that the legislature can be called into session by the governor, but what we did in the past, if they did not want to entertain the governor's bill, I guess, or call to session, was they just convened and then adjourned. So they probably fulfilled the Organic Act requirement to convene session, but then because they do not wish to address it, they adjourn it.
Well, they had their own session that they wanted to that had already been pre-announced, and apparently dealing with the urgent situations at the Department of Education and in the Guam schools, which might require several of them to close down, depending on what happens with the measures that they act on over at the legislature. All right, so now speaking of procedure, because it seems to me that there's a couple of open questions. Now, first of all, I was the guy that noted last week that Doug Moylan's there's a space for Doug Moylan and the Attorney General's of Guam's signature on this lease as to form and content, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, you have to obviously review the lease before you can affix your signature, correct?
That's correct.
Now, do you have the whole lease on you now?
We have a document that the governor and the admiral indicates are the final draft. So I'm going to go as far to say that we have what was given to me as a draft. I believe it has a federal government official signature as well as the governor and my signature required. So there's 3 signatures that were given to the document that was given to us.
Does it have all of the exhibits and addendums, et cetera?
Correct. It did have that.
Okay, so you have the entire document now. Can you affix your signature to the draft, or after, I'm fuzzy on what happens next, because the clock is running now. The admiral has put the island of Guam, gun to the head, literally, and says, okay, you got to do this by what, the 15th or the 28 days, or we're going to turn it into housing.
Right. Well, I do not have a fully signed. I have what was identified as the final draft, the final document. So, I can review it before the governor signs it. I thought the admiral was going to have the federal government sign it before the government of Guam reviewed it. So, it's potato sort of thing.
Right.
If you want to send it over before, then we can take a look at it. The content is what we're looking at, and I will limit it to what's currently before us, because it is not a signed document by anyone yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I presume that is the final document, and we'll probably attach it to whatever final. If we cannot process it, we'll attach the document that we're reviewing.
And you intend to get this your signature on it before the deadline?
That's correct. I had a conversation with the speaker yesterday. She indicated that the governor transmitted a letter at the end of the day that it identified she was going to veto it, which I think she has now, and then wait 14 days, which was our discussion.
Wait. What's the timing here? So the governor sent the veto letter yesterday, and I've read bits and pieces of it. They quote Martin Luther King, but anyway, so they've sent that to the speaker. How much time does the speaker have to act on it? I mean, she can override it in session today, couldn't they?
They could, but obviously if the governor signed it before, assuming that the document was a legal document, at least could get through our office, the governor would first need our signature. I need time to review it, so we're currently reviewing it. I suggested waiting 14 days so that the legislature could act on the veto override if it chose to override it. The governor, apparently, she felt that was appropriate, so it was mentioned in her letter that she would wait 14 days. But at the same time, we have to first sign our side of the agreement before it goes to the governor for her signature. So it's chicken before the egg. She needs the AG's office signature to having reviewed the document for legality and form.
Well, there doesn't see anything slowing you down in this process. Nothing procedural. I mean, just a question of reading the whole thing and saying, "Yep, this is in its correct form," and it uses all the correct legal words.
Well, legality. It requires us to make sure that the document is legal. So if there's and that's the devil in the details, is to do the proper research, make sure that what the governor signs on behalf of the people of Guam is legally correct. That's the normal procedure that the AG's office, that the Guam law requires, that the Attorney General sign and approve before the governor signs and approves.
Okay. And have you, in your review of it so far, have you found anything questionable?
Well, it's been discussed earlier. There's big red flags, and I've discussed it openly with the governor, and I grant the governor credit because she tried to discuss it weeks ago about some of the issues. There's Supreme Court of Guam cases that talk about, obviously, the role of the legislature, the ability to bind the government of Guam, which is the people of Guam, our community, to debt. I believe there's some mortgage provisions in it that our office is also looking at. But I mean, the whole question of the different branches of government's role in a document like this, I believe this is unprecedented, where the governor of Guam is attempting to sign a document that binds the entire government of Guam with the federal government on a federal piece of property. If it was a local piece of property, it's clear that the Organic Act requires the legislative approval and consent. But in this case, I think it's focusing upon the appropriations nature. How much is the government of Guam committing as consideration for the document? And that's what we're trying to understand right now.
Well, all right. It could be some interesting conclusions that get drawn from one side to the other, depending on where you are in the case, and maybe might have some people that decide it might be a big enough question to take to the courts.
Well, that's where it always gets resolved at some point. But I mean, that's just one issue. The other issue is this really an instrumentality of the naval hospital that's been created? Because paragraph 10, I keep on saying it, there's something going on with paragraph 10. In times of emergency, the federal government can take the facility and use the facility. So we're looking at it. Right?
Yeah, there were a lot of people have been looking at that. I think Chris Barnett actually put that up on his Twitter feed, kind of with a question mark about that. What exactly does that phrase mean, and under what circumstances and what criteria before we start handing the keys over to somebody else?
Right. Our team of lawyers are looking at it, but they're looking at the legal research that underlies these legal principles, these issues. So, we want the time to take a look at it and try to make the best call as possible.
Well, hurry up, because the Admiral's waiting.
Last time I checked, I was paid by the people of Guam.
Thanks very much for that. I appreciate it. 6:55 in the morning. Doug Moylan from the Attorney General's office. Just a couple of other things here. What hit piece from the NACDL? I'm not on their circular. I didn't see that on my Twitter feed.
I think the public defender may have obtained that. I'm not sure that. But when you talk defense attorneys, the defense attorneys I'm used to are the public defender's office, alternate public defender. Those are the government-paid ones.
Yeah.
As well as the private bar. But, yeah, a bunch of gibberish. Give me a break. The people of Guam voted a few months ago. They decided that criminals are bad for this island. Make the prosecution strong. Put the taxpayer money where it counts. Get us, the prosecutors, to make us safe.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole scheme of government, you can talk philosophy, till you turn blue. But when it comes down to it, when your house is getting broken into, when you're getting attacked, mugged, robbed, the people want to have a safe island. And it's the prosecutors are the ones that provide that safety. Yes, we understand that the indigent criminals deserve their attorneys, but that's separating from the issue. They got their pay raise. The AGs got their pay raise of 6%. The 15% was a pay incentive. That's not a equality of pay. That's an incentive that when you have limited lawyers on island, we want to make sure there's enough prosecutors. And it wasn't me. It was the former AG that negotiated that with the legislature, and the legislature agreed.
And now things have shifted at the Attorney General's office. You are now shutting down some of the legal services that you provide to government of Guam entities, commissions, and groups in favor of having those attorneys work in prosecution.
That's correct, temporarily, and I said that during the election. If there wasn't enough lawyers, we were going to shift the civil attorneys over to prosecution, but they're also doing some civil work. But for civil service commission matters, which are it's like small claims court.
Mm-hmm.
You go before non-lawyers, and you let the parties, which are normally non-lawyers that go into small claims court, they argue their case, and then they can take it up on appeal if they have a disagreement. AG's office will be there to assist them as they argue their case, and we will be there to file the appeal if that's necessary. But this whole idea of do you protect the people on the street, or do you in our villages, or do you provide this representation of the Civil Service Commission? And I will note, I attempted to ask the governor to her legal team to assist the AG's office with that, because these are the governor's cabinet members that are making these decisions on employment matters. And the Civil Service Commission only deals with hiring and firing of classified employees. So they were silent. And if they can't provide, and they took, I think they have 5 lawyers. They usually just have 1 lawyer. But a lot of our lawyers, when Levin left, ran to the governor's office and ran to Rev and Tax. That says a lot. So if you guys want to protect your cabinet members, and we have a choice, either protect the villagers or
send your new high-paid lawyers down.
Right.
One last thing before I let you run here is I have not been by the intersection of 1 and 16 in a while, so I don't know what the situation is in what used to be what we called Camp Leon Guerrero homeless encampment up there. There are others. Is the Attorney General's office going to be working with the governor's office to clear out a couple of other homeless encampments soon?
The Lieutenant Governor wanted to do the after-action operation report. We did that with the other team members. I have contacted both the Lieutenant Governor and the President of the Mayor's Council to advise them that we're standing ready. I think the Lieutenant Governor should be the one to make the next call, because they provide the most support through the cabinet members.
So I hope they make a decision, at some point. They're fond of having meetings there. So I just want to, okay, no more meetings. Make a decision at the meeting and let's move. 7 o'clock in the morning. Doug, I appreciate your time here. I know how busy you are, so I'm going to let you get to it.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, very good. Attorney General Doug Moylan on the radio as usual this morning, and hope to hear from other members of the community, other elected officials here on the show, so that we can talk about what happened yesterday, what will happen today. Stand by now. Fox News Live, KUSG again. Your peak is best. This is The Point.
School shooting turns deadly in Texas. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It happened early today before many students had arrived on the first day back from spring break.
The police chief in Arlington, Texas, says the juvenile boy shot at Lamar High School Monday morning has died of his injuries. A girl was hurt as well, but her injuries were not considered life-threatening. After the boy who died was initially taken to the hospital, police spokesman Jesse Minton said,
"We don't believe that this was anything where the student was going to try and shoot multiple people at the school. We believe it may have been targeted."
Police said they took the juvenile male suspect into custody and recovered a weapon, saying the suspect never went inside the campus buildings. After a lockdown and search of the school, the children who were on campus were bused to the district's athletic center to reunite with their parents.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Police say the suspect is also a student. TikTok now has 150 million users in the U.S., up from the 100 million active monthly users reported in 2020. The popular app, under increasing pressure to split with its Chinese owner over security concerns, has been banned on government devices recently at the federal level and in a growing number of states. The TikTok CEO is scheduled to testify before a House committee Thursday. The Fed makes its latest rate hike decision Wednesday, and some analysts think it might pause hikes because of recent bank failures, which also remain under scrutiny in Washington. Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers want to hold bankers and regulators accountable. They don't understand how the industry missed warning signs. Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren wants to tighten bank rules and raise the threshold for how much the government will insure deposits.
Senator Warren has also been critical of Fed Chair Jay Powell and his handling of rate hikes to fight inflation. The White House says President Biden still has confidence in Powell. Wall Street bouncing back, at least for today. The Dow finishing up 382. America is listening to Fox News.
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tenactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
No word yet from a grand jury in Manhattan that's investigating hush money payments in 2016 to Stormy Daniels, who said she had a sexual encounter years earlier with Donald Trump, who still denies it. Then Trump attorney Michael Cohen says Trump reimbursed him for the payment, and Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg is arguing for a felony.
To make the connection that the alleged hush money payment kept Daniels quiet and Trump won the election without her story out there in the headlines. He wants to prove this was an unreported campaign donation. Why? Because he believes Daniels' silence actually benefited Donald Trump and put him over the election finish line.
Fox's David Spunt at the Justice Department. Trump calls the probe a witch hunt and has called for protests.
The president has been very clear when it comes to Americans who want to protest. They should do it peacefully, and that is something that is incredibly important that the president has always continued to say.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre. China's president is visiting Russia, with Ukraine on the agenda.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby at the White House briefing said it's not certain what the gist of Chinese leader Xi Jinping's talk with Russian President Vladimir Putin will be about. As it relates to Ukraine, Kirby says,
China has, as you know, not condemned the war, but they haven't provided lethal weapons.
Because of that, Kirby says it's hoped Russian troops will end the war by pulling out. If there is an end to be negotiated, the U.S. will help, but
Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine.
meaning President Zelensky must be at that bargaining table.
Fox's Gernal Scott. In the middle of March Madness, a Hall of Fame coach makes a move. Rick Pitino agreeing to a deal with St. John's, leaving Iona to return to the Big East. Pitino has won 2 national titles with Kentucky and Louisville and is the only coach to take 3 teams to the Final Four. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Chili's has just rolled out the best version yet of the 3 for $15 meal deal. Mix and match your choice of beverage and starter with the larger selection of entrees. Enjoy crowd favorite dishes like the honey chipotle chicken crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or the juicy Santa Fe burger. There's so many combinations to choose from that you might have to three-peat to try them all. So come on down and make your own 3 for $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
The new Subway series includes one of the most craveable sandwiches of them all, the Subway Club.
Number 12, the Turkey Cali Club is the best with avocado, turkey, and bacon.
The best should come with bacon, turkey, and ham. That's my number 10, the All-American Club.
Number 11, the Subway Club is a proven classic that comes with ham too, plus turkey and Angus roast beef.
I see. Let's start over. Let's talk cheese in the Subway series.
I'm still gonna win this. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Donna DeJesus. Here's a look at your local news on The Point. The possibility of funds for the insurance and banking branch of the revenue tax being used elsewhere in the department is being looked into by Senator Sabina Perez, the chair of the Legislative Committee with oversight of the agency. Banking and Insurance Commissioner Michelle Santos voiced her concerns about the budget to Perez. The legislature gives the Banking and Insurance Enforcement Fund $400,000 annually, but Santos says it's not being spent as it should. She told the board she needs legal counsel to clarify her authority and resolve the issue because in the past, the money was not used for the branch itself. She explained that she can request for the money, but believes that Director Daphne Shimizu needs to sign off. Another issue which she says she needs legal clarification. Santos asked, where are the lines drawn and what authority do I have to spend that money? If I can't spend it, then why give it to me? Meanwhile, despite most senators not attending 2 special sessions called by the governor yesterday, they did attend an emergency session to act on several bills that address deteriorating conditions at the public schools. The call to session came at the request of Senator Chris Barnett. The first bill discussed, sponsored by Barnett, would require GDOE to comply with public health and sanitation requirements by school year 2023-2024. This pushes up the deadline by almost a year. GDOE was originally given 5 years to meet the requirements. Barnett says there are exceptions if schools have good reason for not complying. He acknowledges that the bill is considered drastic, but adds that it's also reasonable. Barnett says the deplorable state of our schools is no secret. Public health officials indicate most, if not all, public schools would fail inspections. The senator adds that several schools received failing grades of D, yet remain open as many urgent concerns across the district remain unaddressed. More news after this.
Celebrating Mess tomorrow, Whopper Wednesday is back. Every Wednesday in March, visit participating Burger King restaurants and say, I love the Whopper, or guaidza si Whopper, and get a free plain grilled Whopper sandwich with the purchase of any large size Whopper combo meal. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Coca-Cola, and tell your familia and friends and enjoy your Whopper Wednesday only in March. Available at BK and Hagåtña, Tumon Bay, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. Since Masi Guam, you rule.
Public Health has seen the infection rate for COVID-19 cases on island decline since the start of the year, so much so that local health officials say the disease is becoming more endemic on Guam, like influenza. Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pabutsky says COVID-19 is not going to go away. The influenza has not gone away. That's why we have influenza shots every year. Public Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Robert Leon Guerrero asserted that Guam was entering the endemic phase of COVID-19, although not officially declared so by the World Health Organization. He recommends annual flu shots and thinks COVID-19 is going to be similar to that situation. He hopes a vaccine will be developed that can combine the flu and COVID-19 in one shot. Dr. Leon Guerrero says it's still in the study phase. And the Cannabis Control Board discussed the need to revisit the regulation for the requirement of a cannabis establishment license during a meeting yesterday. Reventax Director Daphne Shimizu reported receiving questions from various applicants about their ability to own more than one retail store. The requirements for a cannabis establishment license make it clear that an individual can't own a testing facility if he or she has any other type of activity with regard to cannabis licensure. But the board needs to clarify whether it's possible to have more than one retail facility. Cannabis Board Chairperson Vanessa Williams says that because the plain language appears to limit licensure to one facility, it's time to revisit the discussion. The next board meeting is set for April 10. And those were your top stories. Back to Ray with weather.
All right, I got you. They're supposed to, what'd you say? They've got another board meeting? I thought I had a notice on that. And among the things that they're going to be talking about there has been an application for one of these establishments. Well, what kind of establishment? I don't know. It's unclear from the nature of the application. I want to say, I wrote down the name of the company, Greenland Farms. Is it like Greenland, the thing, the continent, or Greenland? I'm not sure exactly who it is. Maybe we'll hear from these people and find out what their dreams, goals, and desires are in a post-recreational cannabis world that we live in here on Guam. All right, so here it comes, the weather. 7:11 in the morning, I heard Real Joe say, oh, my God, it's raining. Where did that come from? It came from... there's a line of weather that has been moving over us from the west to the east for about the last, I don't know, a couple of hours or so. And it is bringing some of that weather with it. And as soon as it passes, we might be in for the partly sunny skies that we were promised earlier today. Highs near 87 with a heat index should feel like 92. Scattered showers, mostly cloudy skies, and overnight lows tonight as well. Scattered showers, partly sunny skies tomorrow. Same thing for tomorrow night. And then Thursday, when all of this Google muck is away from us, then we ought to be in for mostly sunny skies, highs near 87 degrees. But you got to wait till Thursday. Sunset tonight at 6:32. Is it Taco Tuesday over at Pirates Cove? Let's see if I got. This is important. I got this from Gemma. And there's a off-island medical fundraiser for her friend Jeanette Cepeda to Tau and the crew has got Jamaican Grill. You ever get one of these things? Yeah, I get them all the time because they don't ever expire or something like that. And I like the package that they put together. So I'll leave this up on the screen here for a second so you can see what's going on and who you need to call if you want to help out. Otherwise, just hit up Gemma on Facebook. I know she's on Instagram as well. 7:12 in the morning. Where was I supposed to go? That's it? I'm finished? Okay, that's enough weather. I'll be right back.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup,
including working with SBA or GITA.
Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
Here it is. So portions of the program now brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And the team over at Security Title led by Kim and Ron. You say Ron and Kim, but realize now that Kim probably does the majority of the work around there. And Ron's like, what time is golf, right? But no, there's a lot of work that gets done in the golf course, too. That's why he does it so well. But anyway, so when they're not doing that, they're out there checking deeds and title, make sure everything goes smooth with your real estate transactions. What they're good at. Great advice, too, from these two. So if you need some, find Ron or Kim and Ron over at Security Title.
The Ray Gibson Show. any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Can you let me know if there's any interest at all in paying attention to March Madness?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is, right? This is a basketball thing.
It's
college
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big time, man. LeBron.
Do we care?
The greatest of all time? Yeah, we care.
Did he play last year?
We sort of care.
Well, as much as the Bitcoin number, but I'm thinking maybe the Bitcoin number is becoming more and more important, as you pointed out yesterday, because nobody's really all that interested in what's happening elsewhere. Don't trust the banks anymore.
Yeah, pull it all out, man.
Looks like they're taking pretty active steps to nationalize banking and then put everything on one of those. Everything's going to be applied to your identity, and we'll be able to shut down loans. No, you can't have that loan, because you don't believe in DEI. You don't believe in Zelensky as your Lord and Savior. So we're not going to give you that loan. In fact, we're going to cut off access to your money. That's what we're going to do. And even cyber, I don't think is going to be safe from that. 7:15 in the morning. Let me just take a look at what's happening with the markets right now, where those numbers all ended up yesterday. Are they red? Are they green? I don't know. I wasn't paying any attention when I got in this morning. Frankly, I was putting all of my all of my focus was going into what happened at the legislature, or for the governor's office, what did not happen at the legislature yesterday. All right, we got green numbers. Are they big green numbers? 34 points in the green for the S&P 500. NASDAQ picked up 45. The Dow is up by 382 points. All right, so we got some wild swings going on here. It looks like the big winner is going to be the Dow. We'll look at them and their components in a second. FTSE up by 68. Nikkei dropped 388 points. The Hang Seng Index dropped 517. What's going on out there, guys? Shanghai down by 15, and the VIX is down by 1.3. The DAX up by 165 points. All right, so let's take a look at the Dow. Who the big winners were on Dow? Honeywell, Dow Inc., Caterpillar Incorporated, Travelers, and Amgem. Around the bottom, Microsoft, Intel, Salesforce, Home Depot, and Visa Inc. Why is Home Depot down in the bottom 5? What's going on? You know what? Maybe I'll have to swing by and check and see what the big deal is over at that place. All right, taking a look at some of the other commodities that we like to look at. Oil at 67.61. You're going, okay, I like it. It's in the 60s. Is that up 60s or down 60s? Well, yesterday I want to say it was 66.5. Yeah, 66.7 is where it was yesterday. So that is up a little bit from where it was. But trading under 70 is always good. You're buying Tapis crude 76.55. That's frozen from where it was yesterday. We'll get new numbers for you probably before the end of the show tomorrow. Gold at $1,982. If you're going to Japan, it's 131. Getting stronger by the day out there. 131.48 against your American dollar. 54.1 against the Philippine peso. And what have I got for the won? The Korean won is at 1306.81. So if you're going to go someplace, go. Hurry up before the exchange rates go down and you get less of the currency that you're shopping around for. All right, so Bitcoin's been interesting for the last couple of days. Have we broached $30,000, Real Joe?
No, we're at 28,189.
28,189. Okay, all right. So compared to yesterday, about the same?
About the same.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
7:17 in the morning.
Jerry knows more.
We'll get to what might.
Jerry doesn't know nothing.
Come on, let's drag Jerry Roberts into the conversation early, shall we? No, there's a couple of things that I feel like I must warn you about here, because there are all these voices that say we need more renewable energy. We need to take advantage of the environment. We need more solar. So we got to get more wind power. And get rid of all of this other stuff now, and stop burning the dinosaur blood in the machines. That's what we got to do. And they made a big deal about that in Hilo, as in Hilo, Hawaii. As I think all of their coal burning plants are gone. I don't think they're doing anything with diesel or oil or anything. So here's what's happening now. Hawaiian Electric is asking Hawaii Island customers to conserve electricity from 5 until 9 tonight. Okay, this is a big island. The need to conserve is prompted by the unavailability of 2 large generators. Hamakua Energy tripped offline and undergoing repairs, and Hawaiian Electric's Hill Plant Unit 6. Got to find a way to make a Hawaiian accent out of that. Hill Plant Unit 6, It's offline due to a mechanical issue. Combined, these units supply about 80 megawatts of power. In addition, wind resources are forecast to be near zero. So a couple of the oil burners are offline.
No.
Yeah, and they're not getting any wind power. And they've got solar. Waikoloa Solar is working to supply additional electricity to the grid. But what happens at night? There's no more solar.
They need Optimus Prim, Ray.
Optimus Prim is not going to be able to help them. Conservation efforts by commercial and residential customers. Hawaiian Electric expects to have enough generating capacity available to meet the early evening peak demand, but it is possible rolling 30-minute outages will be initiated if conservation measures fall short. Using less electricity from 5 to 9 will help ensure enough power is available when electricity use is at its highest. So that was press release number 1, and press release number 2 finally came out, said rolling blackouts impact more than 8,000 customers, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't hold the machines together, and now we're going to have their version of load shedding in the Big Islands, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they put too many eggs, I think, too early into that kind of renewable basket, thinking, well, it's all right. God is sending His power in the form of wind and sunshine, and that should be sufficient for us until everybody gets home from work and wants to turn on the air conditioner and make hot things.
What's the reason we did not do ocean thermal here? Was it simply the cost factor? Simon, right? I want to ask Simon. I forgot to ask Simon.
That was a long time. I don't know how much of the grid was going to get offset by doing that.
I guess the ocean thermal thing, the current and all. And the waves, I mean, that's just...
Well, I always thought it had more to do with the temperature differential between what you get way down, freezing cold water, and then you bring it up to the temperatures around here. And as part of the change in condensation or whatever, we'd be able to create some kind of electricity, or in the very least be able to use that freezing cold water from down there to run air conditioners in the big hotels, and less demand then on the other product. Now, what the other thing sounds like you're talking about, whatever happened to the idea that we dig a pipe, a hole in the ground, and get to where the planet Earth will heat up water.
Not exactly that. That might be interesting, but
they actually did have plans for that.
Did they do that?
Yeah, the guys from what's his name? Not Dave Manning.
Darth Vader.
No, it was the Dave from Jigpo. They actually had plans for something like that, and even they had enough of it specced out that they were going to test drill down in the Paris Acres, that little thing down there, the hole in the ground they've got.
Yeah.
They were going to dig a hole straight down, drill a hole straight down, and see if they could get to where there was enough magma or whatever hot stone to be able to throw water down. You throw water, it comes back up at you as steam, and then you use that to turn turbine, make electricity. And
maybe so. But I know the ocean thermal was one. But what I'm thinking of, there was something else that had to do with the current and the waves and the movement of the water. There was something else that went along with that, but it was all extremely expensive per kilowatt hour or something.
That's what happened.
The investment of something to go into that was pretty high, but they said it's the most effective of all, I mean, if you can afford to buy it.
Yeah, but the thing is,
not the same as oil, but the most effective of these self-sustaining.
The margins are so thin. Remember that we lost in just the delay it took for the legislature to make some decisions on what GPA could and could not do. They lost access to at least one bidder who said, we're not going to be able to deliver at the prices we said we were going to sell it to yet, because things have changed so much on our side that the scale just isn't there anymore. Is that Simon?
Yes, Bob Kelly.
Oh, Bob Kelly. All right, we'll add more to it. Bob Kelly knows a thing or two about pretty much everything. So, Bob, what are your thoughts here?
Well, first off, during Carl Gutierrez' administration, there was a proposal that we were working on for a little over a year and a half, if I remember right. And the person in Washington who was really helping push that was the former Congressman Ben Blas. And the initial idea was to put a very small, I say very small, we're talking maybe in the 10 to 15 megawatt range, ocean thermal off the shore from, at that time, I think we were looking at least somewhat off the shore from the port area, that would bring in, and by the way, it was correct on what was said by Jerry. What you do is you take the cold water from the bottom and use the differential of the temperatures from the cold water that comes up from the water and the temperatures on top to be able to provide the power. And if that was to work out, they wanted to look at, possibly expanding it to do more power. It works continuously. You don't have to wait for different times of day, like on solar or wind stopping, because that temperature differential is always there. And the cold water at that time was primarily being looked at because there was a small ocean thermal being done in Hawaii where the cold water was being used for air conditioning but was pumped through pipes and soil so that you could have cool soil and then grow things like strawberries and stuff on Guam. I do remember, for some reason, strawberries struck to my mind as one of the plants that could be done that they were doing in the Hawaii experiment. But after about a year and a half, I think the whole issue was they were trying to get government funding from the federal government Department of Energy, and that since that did not come through, it didn't proceed. And certainly since that time, we're talking 25 years, I'm sure the technology's advanced a lot more and might be something very good to be looking at.
But Bob, even back then, well, what was the cost per megawatt?
Since it was all being done by grants, I'm not sure we were looking totally at the cost per megawatt, but what it was a source where you did not have to have fuel. And so the big thing was you had some relatively large pipes that had to go to a fair distance offshore. By fair distance, I'm talking 800,000 meters at least, because if you didn't get far enough where the water was deep for the cool water to be pumped up, you could not put the process in place. And I know that there were discussions and studies, how would this large offshore unit be able to handle a super typhoon and so on. I mean, there was a little bit of due diligence going on then, but again, I think it just did not get the funding at the time to be able to get the test phase on Guam. But the whole idea was Guam is a good place to test this technology, and if we want to try to get some research into it, there's probably no better place than Guam with the differential of temperatures in our deep water nearby and our surface water.
Relatively
so
nearby.
It's a good thing to go with as far, but it's not going to be a technology that can take over Guam immediately. But what would be needed now is let's see about getting, based on current technology, a research grant for a prototype. And once that's working, we would then be able to work towards expanding it.
Well, you know where my sense is, let's bypass all of that stuff and go with a known commodity, and that is the significant amount of trash that gets generated by the local population, military. Burn that, use that to make cheap electricity.
Well,
I mean, the science and the diligence has already been done on that.
Well, not only that, but let's go to something since we were looking at the.
Well, wait, you know what, Bob? Wait, hold on. Don't have time right now. We got to get through the extra point and the news and all the other stuff. I'm going to table the conversation. We'll do it again.
There's going to be a lot more trash. I just wanted to say, so that should be looked at immediately.
I agree. I'll talk to you soon. Bob Kelly on the line. Hate to brush him off, but we do have a schedule that we try to keep here at the radio station.
Water's always there and trash is always there.
We'll never run out of both of them until the government of Guam gets involved. I'm sure once the government of Guam gets involved, we won't have enough water or trash. It's 7:27. Jerry Roberts has got the extra point now, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
Question. Have you ever worked with a control freak? Pardon me if I ask a more direct and somewhat inconvenient question. Is it possible that anyone you work with would describe you as a control freak? Now, as thousands of people listening silently say to themselves, not me, we will pursue this topic next on The Extra Point.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APO. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APO is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
To look at the subject of people who are overly controlling, otherwise known as control freaks, we first have to define exactly what that means. A control freak is a term used to describe an individual who has an excessive need for control over people, situations, and outcomes. You may recognize them by the following behavior. Control freaks are big micromanagers. They control every aspect of a task or project, even the small details. The term delegation means absolutely nothing to them. Inflexible. They are fearful of change and are totally rigid in their thinking. The way it's always been is the way it's going to be. Their way, the safe way, the right way, my way, or the highway. Control freaks are needy for approval. They have a strong need for validation from other folks. Control freaks fear failure. A control freak may have a deep-seated fear of failure and may feel that they need to control every aspect of a situation to ensure a successful outcome. Control freaks are unable to trust others. It's the fear thing again. They need to be in control or in charge of every detail. They simply cannot let go. Before we go further, it's important to note that not everyone who exhibits these kind of characteristics is necessarily a control freak. Each of us may have moments where we feel the need to control a situation. Now, that being said, if someone consistently displays these behaviors and it's affecting their relationships or work performance, it may be a sign of a deeper issue. Let's also be clear that these employees may have good intentions. It's just that their overall behavior can be detrimental to the team. Okay, let's say we've noticed that someone has control freak behavior, or they've noticed it in us. What can be done? The first thing to do is to document the examples of that behavior. That's because it's unlikely the individual will accept your position that they are acting in such a manner. They'll give you a ton of reasons why in their defense. Once you have the evidence, schedule a private meeting with the employee and explain what you've noticed, giving specific examples. Give the worker a chance to explain what they've done and why they've done it, using probing questions to go deeper. What you're after here is not blame, but an acknowledgement that their behavior is detrimental to the operation. Okay? What you're after here is not accusations, but simple awareness on their part. Awareness opens the door to understanding, and that can lead them to seeking change, so long as they trust the people involved and feel safe in doing so. Once you have that, you can work with the employee to find a solution that addresses the problem. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, and the man who's never been described as a control freak, Ray Gibson.
Path of least action. Everybody knows. Never going to happen.
And First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
There's no control whatsoever. I'm the opposite. There's got to be balance in the world. Yeah. For every control freak, Doug Moylan, there's got to be somebody like me. What? No, it's true. It's true. And Doug will say so himself. He's got a couple of people, saying, "Okay, I quit." And there's Doug. Don't let the screen door hit you in the butt on the way out. It's all right.
All right.
I'll take care of this. I'll reorganize everything around.
Well, now that you're on a roll,
oh God,
okay, in public life. Okay, on a public payroll, people that you know who would be described by most folks as a control freak. Go.
Public payroll?
On the public payroll.
Well, I'm just assuming.
Give me names.
Trying to remember who pays the bills. My guess is like Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood over at the at District Court.
Oh man.
What? No. Wait.
If Gibson screws
Judge,
up,
I'm not
if
really
he screws
with
up,
Ray.
he's going to do time.
No, I'll be able to. No, I'll be able to say I want a new judge. Because she'll know, and she knows that. She knows. I knew her from before she was a judge.
Well, yeah, we all did.
Her and her sister used to babysit David and Mana when they were very small. They will say that they used to babysit all four of us, but Shelley and I were already teenagers by the time that they were coming around. So we've known each other from a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure that I can put her down as a control freak. Guarantee Lulian Guerrero.
Does that mean that Francis will not sentence you?
life in chains, making little rocks out of big ones, you know? That's the prison I'm going to.
Okay, so you got the Lou now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not once but 4 times she knocked on the doors at the legislature. And not once but 4 times the legislature acted like Jehovah's Witnesses were outside. Don't make any noise. Don't make any noise. They'll hear us. Did you want me to keep going, or have I dug my hole deep enough?
Keep going, man. Keep going.
No, it's okay, because I have another revelation that I want to share with everybody. Hold on. See, we were talking kind of in and around the break, and you made a statement, and I'm going to take that statement and move it up just a little bit more, and say, if you look at the front page of today's Guam Daily Post, are we looking at the next governor and lieutenant governor? Yeah. Are we looking at the next governor and lieutenant governor?
Well, the question would be, in which order?
Does it matter?
I don't.
Yeah.
We're 3 years away, 3.5 years away, so maybe not. But when you get closer, maybe so. Mm-hmm. But I will say this.
You think Therese Turlai is the second female governor of Guam?
Could be.
And Chris Barnett, the first openly straight lieutenant governor of Guam?
The first disc jockey.
Only the next governor could wear a Sanahi that boots.
Yes. I'm just and in my mind, it almost doesn't make any difference.
Excalibur.
Is that why there is so much unction going on between the governor's office and the legislature? I think they're putting Chris Duenas up as kind of a fall guy right now. But the real targets for the Adelup are these two here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because they're Democrats. And they're going to do everything that they can. Watch as the slow shift from the Democratic Party of Lou becomes the Democratic Party of Josh.
Oh, it's already.
Yeah. Well,
Already.
if you haven't seen it, as I said, slow shift because I'm a slow guy. But I'm just saying, guys. Chris Barnett, Therese Turlai, and the Sanahi of strength there, is that going to help propel them into being the next governor, lieutenant governor of Guam?
Maybe so, but at least one thing: the legislature has awakened, and it's about time. And now that they have once again decided to become the third branch of government. Okay, I mean, and that's only going to be healthy for all of us.
It's the last thing they want to hear at Adelup. It's 7:36 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. Plus, now we've got Donna D with a look at big news and headlines. Hoffaday Realty at gmail.com. If you want to find out what the absolute latest is that they've got for you, send them a thing. They return emails and telephone calls and more. Tomorrow it is I Love the Whopper Wednesday, but it's messed tomorrow. So Guaidza e Whopper, you rule at BK. Now with news and headlines, here's Donna D. Donna, what happened?
AG Doug Moylan says the AG's office currently does not have enough attorneys and will temporarily stop representing the government at some hearings before the Civil Service Commission. 2 more attorneys recently resigned, and Moylan says the ideal number of attorneys on staff is about 50. He has been actively recruiting off-island attorneys. And funding for a 22% general pay raise for GovGuam employees was tabled until 2 o'clock this afternoon by the Guam legislature. The delay comes as lawmakers weigh separate legislation to fund fixes for local schools, which would come out of the same pot of money the Leon Guerrero administration is eyeing for raises. It's uncertain whether GovGuam will have enough money to pay for both raises and repairs. And GCC's annual show and sell event earlier this month was a success. GCC students were able to sell their own products, learn to connect with customers, and expand their networks during the 2-day event. The show and sell event provides aspiring entrepreneurs the perfect opportunity to display their wares and services and a chance to promote their business ventures. And those are your local headlines. Back to Ray.
All right, got you. 7:38 in the morning. One last thing while I still have Jerry Roberts in the studio. Are they going to put Donald Trump in handcuffs tomorrow?
Boy, wouldn't that be a spectacle?
There are already the beginnings of demonstrations all across the country.
Well, and I heard some commentary on
yeah.
this. That's the last thing that the Republicans need to have happen is big demonstrations that could turn into anything like January 6th, and then that'll give the Democrats talking points from now until the election in 2024. Yeah, I mean, if I could advise any Republicans out there, stay home and let Trump deal with it in court and that's it.
You want protest? Go to Paris and protest with the garbage collectors.
Yeah.
Have you been paying attention to that?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's amazing how much is going on around the world that you're not finding out about anywhere. It's like nobody is covering this. This is why I'm really, really glad that Elon Musk has democratized to the degree that he could Twitter, because I think things are opening up a little bit more, and we're able to see just what's going on with some of the leadership around the world, places like France and even Canada. That we go, wow, lucky us, we've got a Bill of Rights. Those poor suckers don't.
Well, they don't, but the Bill of Rights, the Philippines years ago showed what you can do when you hit the streets in the right way.
Yep.
Right. Will France do the same thing? I don't know. But I do know that there's trouble in Europe all over the place.
Well,
and
Macron,
it's not just from the Ukraine. And people are getting tired of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And Macron apparently has just outlawed gatherings. No more protests. They're not legal anymore. You can't do it. The horse has left the barn. In 20 minutes, it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. More. Stay there.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggan from Security Title, and in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi I Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
KFC's $5 breakfast deals are the best and most affordable ways to start your day. The Colonel's Chicken and Rice Bowl, $5. Chicken fried steak, $5. Sausage, biscuit, and gravy, $5. And they all come with a fresh coffee. KFC $5 breakfast deals are served starting at 6 a.m. daily at your favorite KFC restaurant. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Ray Gibson Show. Let me see here. It's 20 away from the top of the hour. You know how I know? Because I got a clock on the watch. This not the watch, the thing, my phone thing. I got a thing that tells me what time it is. It connects to the Apple Watch that I'm not wearing right now. It's on the charger at the house. Otherwise, I'd be able to show off how incredible that kind of technology is, and it gets smarter and smarter every day. Now, they're to a point now. It will be able to do virtually everything the doctor would do in the first 10 minutes of a visit. Take a look at your heart and take a look at your schedule, control your Spotify, and so much more. If you don't have an Apple Watch on your arm, you're doing it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And find a whole bunch of them, all kinds of colors, all kinds of sizes, etc., waiting for you right now at Beyond the Box in the Micronesia Mall. Is it traffic? Oh, no, Ray's putting that picture up again of the next governor and lieutenant governor of Guam. It's Chris Barnett and Therese Terlahi. Is it possible? Could it be? Is that why?
Wow, feeling that. Wow.
Right?
Hey.
You know what? I gotta remember to clip this picture out here. And when it finally happens, I want people to say, you know, Ray Gibson was just talking about that like it was a dream on the radio. But look, it finally happened. And you might be asking, well, wait a second. Isn't Ray a Republican? Why would he be rooting for a Democrat governor and lieutenant governor again after the last 3.5 years? And I'm like, it's because these two are trying to get things done over at the legislature. Can you imagine if they had the powers that the Organic Act gives to the governor to be? They wouldn't just have meetings, Joe.
No.
They wouldn't have just endless rounds of meetings day in and day out. What do we do? Well, I'm going to meet with somebody. I'm going to meet with somebody. No. I want the guy. I want the kind. And make Carl Gutierrez the chief of staff.
Oh yeah,
Chris Barnett and Carl Gutierrez.
The Democrats we like.
Yeah. Mike Sinicolas. We'll put Mike Sinicolas in there somewhere too. 7:42. I better stop now while I'm ahead. What do we need here? Traffic? Let me see if I can scare some up. It looks like a little bit of traffic. Calacas traffic down in the Ipalpao area, making your way towards Waiseng Song. And you're going to be meeting up with traffic. Do you see the angry people on the road on Leche Macheche? Yeah, they're streaming towards the KFC at the intersection where they're going to meet up with you. And nobody's going to be happy about this gathering. So take your time if you're through there. Looks like we've got from Ukadu all the way to the intersection of 1 and 3, some fairly busy Route 3 action, meeting up with traffic that's already on Marine Corps Drive. It must be the rain. People slowing down for the wet road conditions. Got to be looking at traffic on 16 all the way to 8, 10, and 16. We're going to start to see things slow down right around Post Office, Barragata Heights area, and then you've got some traffic on all sides of the tri-intersection. Then we've got traffic on Route 10 meeting up with Route 4. It looks like Route 4 would be the slower way into town, but if you got no choice, you got no choice. Route 8's got certain areas that are dogging out, but it doesn't look as bad as it could. A little bit of traffic over at Big Navy and Sumai, and that's the way things are looking right now for my cheap seats on the Ray Gibson Show.
It's March Madness month on GTA. That means big discounts and awesome giveaways. Come into GTA today and get the all-new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra with a 200-megapixel camera and advanced nighttography. Your selfies will look amazing day or night. Purchase a Samsung Galaxy S23 series smartphone and get on our best unlimited plan for as low as $65 a month. Plus get a free $200 Payless gift card when you open a new line. Terms and conditions apply. Offer good while supplies last. Smartphone month at GTA. We start with you.
Just in time for Lent. It's our delicious BK Big Fish Sandwich. 100% white Alaskan pollock, breaded with crispy panko, topped with sweet tartar sauce, tangy pickles on top of a warm toasted brioche bun. Also available, our Impossible Whopper, 100% Whopper, 0% beef. Enjoy your Lenten season with French fries or our new mozzarella sticks with a refreshing brewed, sweet, or unsweetened tea. We are ready to serve you this Lenten season. Now available at BK Hagåtña, Tuban Bay, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. Have an amazing day. You rule.
I got you. Studio time 7:45. Ray Gibson Show on the most important day of the year so far at the 37th Guam Legislature. So much work that needed to get done. And it looks like one of the guys that was guiding the process. I've got him on the line now, Darrell Chris Barnett. Good morning, Senator. Good to have you there.
Good morning, Guam. Morning, Ray.
Great to have you, as I said, and you'll forgive me my enthusiasm here this morning as I see the picture on the front cover of today's Guam Daily Post. You in collaboration and discussion with Speaker of the Legislature, Therese Turlai, and it occurred to me as I was looking at that, I was looking at a picture of the next governor and lieutenant governor of Guam.
Oh, stop it some more, Ray. Stop it some more.
That's kind of where I thought it might be going. We'll leave my very complex political fantasies aside because I know you got to get to work. So in order of importance, and that's how I wrote out the questions today. How are our education bills doing? How did I know you had a lot of distractions and disruptions and interruptions yesterday. Legislators interrupt us, but were you able to get anything done with your education bills?
Yeah, so Bill 29, we moved it to the voting file. I don't want to say we debated it, but pretty much unanimous support. I mean, I've now got the support of the entire body on this bill, and everybody stood up. And did everybody? Yeah, I think everybody pretty much stood up and spoke in favor of the measure yesterday, and we moved it to the voting file. And then Senator Sabina Perez and I introduced the expedited procurement protest process bill that would cover expenditures with ARP and the ESF. That also was moved to the voting file, and so this morning we're going into committee of the whole, and we're going to address Senator Chris Duenas' bill that appropriates $30 million in excess revenues to the Guam Department of Education for facilities and maintenance repairs. So that's where we're at. This is the bill, though, I think, Ray, that there's going to be a lot of back and forth on, because there seems to be this idea that somehow this $30 million is supposed to go towards the pay raises. But, we're following the process. It is kind of a case of first come, first serve. And, we've committed to hearing this pay raise process. I don't think that we're going to pass the $23 million pay raise bill as is. I think the Republicans have some ideas about kind of going in and maybe setting some limits in terms of like a floor. Like if you make at least this much, then you get this raise. If you make over this much, then you don't. But technically, I'm not sure how they can do that, but I know that that's their intent. So we're going to address everything that's on our table. But it's kind of first things first. And Senator Joanne Brown said something on the floor that really resonated with me, and she was talking about the kind of advice the governor's getting. I don't know who's advising her, but what a blockhead. I mean, you're going to advise the governor to send us 4 special session requests. I mean, just the optics of it. You know, we weren't trying to dilly-dally around yesterday. It's serious business. You know, we're taking care of the education system. The governor in her State of the Island speech said she wasn't involved. It was a little bit of a contradiction, though, because you got a lieutenant governor who's saying hold a government approach. Then you got the governor who says, no, leave him alone, to the legislature. So when the governor in her speech said that it was our responsibility to take care of education, and then she told us to spend excess revenues to do that, I felt like we're doing exactly what she wants, and I didn't understand the first request, I get it, right? I mean, you know, she's trying to beat us to the punch by calling us into special session at 10 a.m. But when we recessed that special session until 2 p.m. today, I thought we were good, and then the second request came, and we were like, okay. Third request, it was a little ridiculous. Fourth request, I was just ready to blow my top because, again, we're trying to conduct the business of the legislature, and we addressed her first special session call by saying we would go into recess until 2 o'clock today, and I thought we were good, so I don't get what was up with the incessant request. I'm surprised we didn't get one at midnight. I was up. I had a hard time sleeping just in case, you know, but it was just at the end of the day, though, we did do the work, but it was a little hard to get the flow going when you had to stop every little while to just go into special session to adjourn that request because we already had one going. So, yeah, well, confusing. I was watching a clip, and it was like this session, that session, emergency session, special session.
Well, let me throw something out at you. You're going to go back in today to talk about that. The last of the what I'm going to put together is the education trifecta, and then maybe we'll spend some time talking about the pay raises. But I think maybe one of the things that the legislature should address now is the governor's 5-page veto of the measure on the hospital leases and the interjection of the legislature into the conversation. I think there needs to be a call for an override. Do you think he got the votes?
Well, I hope we do. I mean, we started talking about that last night. That letter, though, that veto letter, that was something else. That was some.
Oh my God, Carlo used all of his favorite analogies in there.
Yeah, that was Pete Carlo Branch right there. I mean, you know, these guys and the governor, and again in her State of the Island address, she talked about the meanness of politics. And I'm like, girl, you're the one being mean. We're just trying to do it. You know, he's like, hello. You're like the mean girl over here.
They're selling them fool's gold and the promise of land. And where's the other one? Pandering the shameless exploitation of their pain for political gain. Taima malo? Huh?
That is it.
Where are you? No shame, mijo. Just wagging her finger at you while they're calling you while they're interrupting all of your sessions all day long. I don't disagree, but you know, Chris, they quoted Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh goodness!
So I mean, that's how important it is. They pulled out the MLK as a sign of how serious they are.
You know, this is true, man, and I think we're really, unfortunately, past the point of addressing the concerns of the original landowners at Lalo, because obviously with the governor's intent to sign this bill come hell or high water, we're kind of past that. And there was a criticism in the letter that said that accused us of pivoting to focus on the lease. Well, of course, like we didn't know you were going to sign the lease, and now that we know that the lease is in play, why wouldn't we want to look at the lease and go through it with a fine-tuned code?
You're not allowed to.
I know, it's just
you're not allowed to. The admiral said so. Navy Rear Admiral Benjamin Nicholson last week said it will become public after it has been signed.
And I didn't know we had. I mean, is he like a co-lieutenant governor or something? Because, I mean, this is and then for the governor to call us into session and expect us to work on her agenda when she won't even give us a copy of the lease. I mean, it's really the definition of disingenuous. And so, I know that I want to say I can count on 9 votes, 10 for the override. I mean, we'll see, but I know that we can't really address that override until we go into regular session, which barring any other special session or emergency session, is going to be on Monday. But I think it's clear, just now we're talking about this lease and this deal that the governor is trying to obligate the people of Guam to. And, even the attorney general has issues with it. I'm just not really comfortable when you have the admiral setting timelines for us to take it or leave it, because I'm just not even sure that this is a deal that we would want to take.
Chris,
and we won't really know until we get into the details of it, Ray. And, we won't get into the details until we get a full copy of the lease. We can't even get the attachments. And I'm just telling you, it's a scary thought when you only have a handful of people looking at this lease and really trying to ram it through without the legislature being able to vet it. That's why I think it's really, again, a race against time. If we go into a regular session Monday and we're able to override this veto, I think that we'll be able to do that before the Attorney General.
I'm scared of some of the people in the Adelup 6. You know what? I see the kabuki that they did to stand up and say, yeah, we're going to vote unanimously with the breakaway Republic of Therese and Chris and the minority here, because they'll always be able to say that we did that for the people. They no here, but now that it's very, very clear from the governor's actions and statements made by the admiral that the land will never ever go back to these original landowners. I think they're going to go back and kowtow to the whims of Adelup. This negotiation, she said, has been going on for a couple of years to a point where both parties feel that this is a very reasonable lease, the governor said. Of course, there's always amendments that can be made, and that's allowed in this case. The question is, it's been going on for a couple of years behind closed doors. This is the first time hearing that we've got 2 years' worth of negotiations with the military on the Lalu.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because, there was even a soundbite from the Admiral where he had come out, and he came out hard. I didn't appreciate his tone. He said that not once did the legislature pick up the phone and call me and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, first of all, we didn't have any idea that this lease was being negotiated in secret behind closed doors. Okay, second of all, we've met with the Admiral last year. This year, he came down to the session on a number of other topics, and he never once said, hey, guys, did you know I'm negotiating a lease that's going to obligate you to all of these things? And so just the theater that's going on. But, I want to speak to what you had said about the Adelup 6, and I think this issue is, for me, if we really look at what's in front of us, it's not about do you support the billion-dollar healthcare complex or not. We've all said, and they do this, they twist your words, but we have all said we support the building of a new hospital. Who doesn't? It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
But I think what we're looking at now is this a good deal for the people of Guam? And I'm hopeful that when we do get to address this override, if we do get it, I'm going to really push that case with my colleagues, because I think again, if we're just talking about the terms of this deal, is it good for the people of Guam? I think that's a big question, and I'm not sure that the answer would be yes all around. And I'm saying, like, the deeper we get into this lease, you're hearing the AG, he's got issues with it. I know my colleagues, they got good heads on their shoulder, and I think that, if the governor's going to tell them to jump into this deal and they know that there's questions about it, I want to say that I have faith that they'll be a little more cautious in moving forward and really examining it, because I mean, just because they sat down with the governor and the admiral doesn't mean that they got a really good look at the lease. And so that, I think that that's something we all need to do. I mean, this thing I'm sitting here looking at a 28-page copy of the lease that doesn't have the attachments, and the attachments are where the real juice is, but just looking at what we can and can't do in terms of this lease, I'm not sure it's a great deal for the people of Guam, and that's really the question that is before this body with the override attempt on those bills.
7:56 in the morning. Last thing before I let you go, like I said, I want to put things in order, even though this is kind of important. It's a point that you kind of alluded to as well. Once we get through the ed bills and how we're going to pay for all of that stuff, we've got the override possibilities of the governor's veto, pay raises, which are still part of the conversation. For somebody to say that there's we have to absolutely stand by the austerity. Fine, I think, but I'm with Chris Duenas on this. I think there are ways that we can do righteous pay raises in the government of Guam, but not necessarily continue to deepen the feather nests that already exist with the six-figure club that go down there and testify on everything. The important thing, though, is there are three measures that you guys are going to go over on Thursday with regard to the LEAP program to help out businesses that are still trying to recover from COVID-19 and the terrible response that we gave to it. So a question I've got is, do you think there'll be any money left over by Thursday to be able to roll into these LEAP programs?
Man, Ray, we're going to have to get creative, right? And at the end of the day, whether it's the raises or the LEAP, the governor's still got $239 million in ARP funds. She still has her transfer authority. And again, we're doing exactly what she wanted us to do. In her speech, she said, use the excess revenues to take care of education. So, and trying to give GDOE the $30 million in excess revenues in Senator Duenas' bill, that's exactly what we're trying to do. But, really, what does she expect when she sends down this huge request of this 22% pay increase? But like Senator Tom Fisher said, she didn't send us a check. So, if you're if you're going to obligate us and you're going to really just pass the buck down here to the legislature and leave the question of the pay raises, in our court, then help us out a little bit. Give us show us where to find the money. Pony down some matching funds, throw in some ARP, and I think that's where. And I don't know if she's trying to hold on to this ARP because she's not sure how much help she's going to get from the federal government and building this new hospital if we do end up committing to this lease. But I really think that she's got to help out a little more. I mean, I know she said that it's hands-off education. That's in our realm, but with the pay raises, I mean, if she wants them, then I think she's got to show us where to find the money for it and how to make it sustainable. Because you're right, I think that, and I was looking over the general pay plan, all the different classifications and the position titles in there, and there's no doubt, like, bus drivers, clerk typists, school aides, all the really hardworking government and Guam employees, and they know who they are. Like, of course, we want to give them a raise. We want to support them. But when you start getting into the upper echelons of the over $100,000 club, now, granted, I think that the Republicans are going to have a hard time trying to extricate that group of employees from the general pay plan because there's just a lot of legal questions. Like, can you? And they seem to think they can do it. Can you take out workers in an entire pay plan when you're trying to give a raise to that entire pay plan? So they're going to have to get creative, whether it's saying, okay, anybody who makes under $50,000 or $80,000 gets it. Anyone who's above it doesn't, because some of these $100,000 positions, some of them are technical positions where you're talking about, and not all of them, granted, but you're talking about, like, in some cases, engineers or controllers, and not necessarily political hacks who are making over $100,000. So
political hacks. So when you say political hacks, is there an image that pops into your head? Better. We're almost out of time here. Well, Les Carlson just sent down the most recent CRER, and so maybe there is some other interesting news that we can find out, or additional revenue that we have not yet tapped into. It usually comes with a caveat, but hold on, that's just on paper. We got to wait until the final audit is done. But it is my experience that every time there has been a new CRER that comes out, it shows again to the degree that the government is overcharging in taxes, et cetera. It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ray, one area where we're down is the Healthy Futures Fund. I think we're short $5 million in that, and I'm not sure if that's. We've been meeting with some of these the vape industry people, and they're paying the GRT, but we're not taxing them on the actual vape and the nicotine and the tobacco-based products that they're selling. And so, at this point, when they're facing an outright flavor ban in Senator Fisher's bill, we're having a conversation with them, and they're almost saying, please tax us. So we're going to probably pick up some short in revenue. I've got a measure that we're working on here. I'm not sure. I'm hoping I could get the support of Senator Fisher, but this when we get into this vape debate, especially with GDOE, it's the number one offense that they have for discipline. So we want to move carefully, but at the same time, I don't want to take anyone's ability to, any grown up who's responsible to ability to vape. But if we're collecting taxes on cigarettes and stuff, then I think definitely they gotta pay the piper.
Senator, soon-to-be Governor Chris Barnett, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Don't deny me my pocket fantasy. Just let me have it until such time as you decide not to. At least he didn't say no. All right, Chris, I'll see you soon, buddy. You have a great day.
Ray.
All right, we'll be watching you on the legislative channel. It's after 7 o'clock. We'll jump into what's left of Fox News.
Street closed higher after regulators pushed two big banks together over the weekend and made other moves to build confidence in the industry. The Dow gained 382. The NASDAQ added 45. America is listening to Fox News.
Buenas Zenhafide. Thank you for coming to today's annual meeting. As you all know, our island's had a very successful year, and I'd love to hear about all of the progress we've made. Who wants to go first?
Me, please.
Why don't we start with you?
Yes, thank you. We've helped over 1,200 Guam kids and their families pay for childcare.
And that's over $5.5 million in child care costs so far. Excellent work, as always.
Thanks, boss. Over 130 after-school and community care programs have received grant funding for programs like swimming.
And cycling. And soccer. And jiu-jitsu.
Just to name a few. It's my turn, guys. Come on. Anyways, we've also graduated 3 cohorts in our provider certification program at GCC and certified over 75 relative care providers.
That's great news, everyone.
Yes, indeed. It's been a long day. I might need a little break.
Who's ready for recess?
Recess?
This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
5 children from Connecticut are killed in a highway crash in New York.
Police say they were siblings and cousins, 8 to 17 years old, 4 boys and a girl, and then a 16-year-old boy was driving when the car veered off the Hutchinson River Parkway in Scarsdale, New York, hit a tree and caught fire. They say the only survivor was a 6th child, a 9-year-old boy who was riding in the rear hatchback and got out. The school superintendent in Derby, Connecticut, about 50 miles from the crash, says the family had recently moved there with no kids enrolled in school yet. Police are looking into what caused the crash. Chris Foster, Fox News.
An American aid worker and a French journalist kidnapped and held by Islamic extremists have been freed 4 days after Secretary of State Antony Blinken paid a visit to West Africa. U.S. officials said no ransom had been paid for aid worker Jeffrey Woodkey, who was held for more than 6 years. They praised Niger's government for helping secure his release. The French government did not comment on how freedom was won for journalist Oliver Dubois, who was abducted almost 2 years ago in Mali. Amazon cutting more jobs.
CEO Andy Jassy breaking the news in a memo to staff Monday that the e-commerce giant will lay off 9,000 more employees. The cuts are on top of the previously announced 18,000 layoffs that began in November and extended into January. This latest round will primarily impact Amazon's cloud computing, human resources, advertising, and Twitch live streaming businesses. According to the memo, Amazon will be prioritizing what matters most to customers and the long-term health of its business. Jassy writing, the cuts are a difficult decision, but one we think is best for the company long-term. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
At the box office this weekend, Shazam! Fury of the Gods opened at #1, earning $30.5 million. Last week's #1, Scream 6, dropped to second with $17.5 million. Creed 3 in third. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hoffaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Since 1997, Island Eye Institute has been committed to your family's eye care needs. From its beginnings, Island Eye Institute has recognized the value in incorporating state-of-the-art technology into personalized care and the commitment to excellence. As Guam's complete eye center, our specialists offer their expertise in glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK, cataract, and diabetic eye disease. Island Eye accepts Select Care, Net Care, Take Care, and Stay Well. Call us at 637-2020 to schedule your appointment today. We're located on the second floor of the Baltej Pavilion in Tumuring.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggan from Security Title, and in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi I Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, easy, and secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Off a day, it's 8:06. I'm Donna De Jesus with a look at your local news on The Point. The AG's office is currently reviewing the draft lease for the Eagles Field area of Manilao, but AG Doug Moylan says the review is raising a number of legal issues. He says he was not involved in the drafting or review and adds that this is the first time that such a lease of this nature has ever been attempted to be signed between a Guam governor and the federal government. Gov Guam was given 30 days from March 15 to sign the lease so the site can be used to build a new medical complex. If Gov Guam does not meet the deadline, the Department of Defense will use that land for other military purposes. The AG says they will need to receive the fully signed document before he can sign it. Then, if approved, it would need to be sent to the governor for her review and approval. But Rear Admiral Benjamin Nicholson says the U.S. Navy would sign the lease after Gov Guam representatives have signed it. As of today, 24 days remain to sign the lease. And the legislature was called into special session at 10 o'clock yesterday morning by the governor to act on the Gov Guam pay raise bill. Senators also met in an emergency session called by the speaker, having a special and emergency session on the same day. Senators met the legal requirement to gather, but the pay raise special session took about 12 minutes. Senator Chris Barnett moved to recess the special session, saying senators have more pressing matters at the 2 o'clock emergency session relative to GDOE. The governor was not happy with the one-day recess, calling senators back for a second special session at 1 o'clock. That second session was adjourned, prompting the governor to issue a memo for a third special session. The special session has been moved to 2 o'clock today. More news after this.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
AG Doug Moylan says the AG's office currently does not have enough attorneys and will temporarily stop representing the government at some hearings before the Civil Service Commission. 2 more attorneys recently resigned, and Moylan says the ideal number of attorneys on staff is about 50. He has been actively recruiting off-island attorneys. The CSC hears appeals by GovGuam employees who believe they were wrongly suspended, reprimanded, or terminated, or who have an employment-related grievance against their agency. The AG's office normally represents the government's line agencies in hearings before the commission. Moylan says the civil attorneys at his office recommended that the AG's office withdraw from providing in-person services at the CSC. He says his office will assist with existing CSC cases on a case-by-case basis. And teachers from public, charter, and private schools participated in a 2-day training session where they learned strategies for developing deeper engagement and interaction with student learning. The training introduced new approaches to project-based learning through experiences that promote critical thinking and problem solving. BP Carbolito Elementary School teacher Margaret Surgao says the approach benefits students because it's hands-on. She says this type of learning is also known as a research project, and she will employ the project-based learning methods starting next term. The project would be a semester long to teach students little by little, and then the project will be graded as a whole at the end of the semester. And those are your top stories. Now back to Ray with weather.
Do I have to? It's raining. It's ugly. It's ugly weather outside right now. It's partly sunny is what the forecast says, but isolated showers. And, isolated showers, what we're getting right now, is not isolated. That's showers. That's just regular, plain, vanilla, welcome to Guam showers. We got that for the remainder of the day. Highs near 87 degrees if it comes out. East winds up to about 11 miles or so today and tonight. Scattered showers, mostly cloudy skies again. Partly sunny tomorrow. Expect some more of these scattered showers and isolated showers tomorrow night. By Thursday, it says mostly sunny, nothing showers. So maybe we'll be in the clear as we get closer and closer to the weekend. Heat index going to make it feel like 92 degrees again when the sun comes out. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:32. Hashtag tell the others. There it is. News and weather together here on The Point.
After a long wait, the biggest, juiciest, most flavorful chicken makes its return. The Circle K 3-pound rotisserie chicken is back. Get 3 whole pounds of perfectly seasoned chicken for all your family feasts. And for a limited time, pick up a rotisserie chicken and a Pepsi Family 2-liter soda, the perfect dinner combo, for only $19.95. Available at select Circle K stores. Swing by and take yours home today. Circle K, take it easy.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup,
including working with SBA or GITA.
Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
It's the Ray Gibson Show, brought to you by APL. American President lines a global presence with a local home in Guam Regional Medical City. You know who they are? They're your healthcare partners.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
The kid from Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Which one?
As in Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
He's 60 years old today. Sorry.
Matthew Broderick?
Matthew Broderick is 60 years old, bro.
What the heck?
Right?
I thought he was a cutie pie.
God, what a great actor. What a fine actor. The only movie that they put him in that I would have said would be right for somebody else is that Godzilla movie. He never felt like a fit in the Godzilla. Yeah.
Did you watch The Producers that he's in with Nathan Lane?
I have not. I should, because I adore Nathan Lane, and my old man had an appreciation for Ferris Bueller's particular style of acting. Kind of hot, is it? Africa hot. That's what kind of hot it is out here. 8:13 in the morning. More celebrity birthdays on the way. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number around these parts. I tell you what, I wished I had the capability. I probably do, and I just haven't found it. Where I can go back to the YouTube feed and listen to Chris Barnett again. Because that stuff was brilliant, baby. Yes. That was radio gold right there. What you were hearing is two professional observers and storytellers observing and telling stories. But the good news here is for at least one of us, he's in a position to make things happen now. This is long a dream for people in the media business. Some of us have been successful. Others, like myself, have just been able to watch from the cheap seats. But now you got Chris Barnett rolling up over at the legislature and literally making things happen. This guy, wasn't that long ago, this guy was telling doper jokes on the radio. You remember?
No way.
Hey, why's my teacher's eyes red? Make it a little.
That's our brown night, Ray.
Exactly. Soon to be governor or lieutenant governor. I'll be happy either way. Either way with Chris Barnett. It's 8:14 in the morning. I've got an idlet on the line.
You do, Landon.
Wow,
the sexy one, the evil one.
We're gonna put him
all those things
in the administration.
Scared of spiders.
In the Barnett Terlahi administration.
He's gonna be the guy.
He's gonna be. We're gonna make him. The commissioner of weather. Good morning, Landon. How you doing?
Good morning. I don't know how I go from Godzilla to politicians to weather.
But no, because Matthew Broderick's birthday is 60 years old, and as far as I'm concerned, even if it was a fine movie, that wasn't number one, the best Godzilla movie ever made. I mean, you cannot take basically that Japanese product and try to make it your own. I mean, it did not live up to the hype. So anyway, Matthew Broderick and that. But there were a couple of other movies that will come to me that I'll remember why he was a big favorite. So having said that, though, let me. Can I ask you the first question before we get into national weather guy thing?
Yeah, was that it?
No, that wasn't it. I have 18 more questions, and the question is, when are you going to turn my radar back on?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they were doing some generator repairs, and that's part of this multi-year service life extension program. And so we put out the press release for late February for that 1 week downtime. But, of course, they had about a 5 to 7 day delay. I'm not sure what the delay was for. So they are working the generator repairs and replacement right now. Once they get that complete, the radars can be coming back online. So hopefully that's very soon. I keep looking every morning to see if it's on the app.
Yeah.
So we'll probably touch base with the Air Force guys and find out what the detailed timeline is on the radar return to service.
I'm going to say something snarky about asking the Admiral, because he seems to know everything about everything these days. So maybe we'll ask him what the problem is. At any rate, 8:16 in the morning. I've got the weather map on the screen behind me, and kind of in honor of today being National Meteorological Day.
That's correct. Luckily, it's not too much happening out there, but we just have these spotty showers out there that seem to favor the islands. Every time it dries out, it's another quick downpour. And I hit one hard this morning coming into the office, and it was a soaker for about all of 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, World Meteorological Day, that's a big day that we like to celebrate here. That's on Thursday, March 23rd. And so we just started celebrating this back in 2021 as a way to propagate weather messages into the community in the off season. And so we're between last year's wet and typhoon season and preparing for this year's season. So what happens in March, April, and May? Not too much, fortunately. So this is our training, exercising, preparedness time.
We've always been partners with the National Weather Service, and obviously for important reasons. You come up and tell us what's going to happen, and we tell everybody else what's supposed to be happening, and always try to throw in the reminder that look, this isn't all that hard to keep track of what's happening with the weather, and it's not too hard to find the numerous products that come out of the National Weather Service that people can use on a regular basis to find out, number one, what kind of day it's going to be. Should I bring a jacket? Should I bring an umbrella? Or is there anything more dangerous that I need to prepare my family and my business for? So we've always appreciated the partnership.
Yes, likewise. We can't do it without you because you're essentially our voice to get the word out. So thank you to The Point.
Well, as I said, always happy to do it. Now, how are you going to be observing National Meteorological Day here, besides calling me up on the phone?
Yeah, we are going to be pulling out the stops with our first ever community-wide open house on Thursday. This is something I've been trying to do since 2019.
Oh, wow.
We just have not had the support because we started it in 2018 with a Weather Ready Nation Ambassador open house. So it was close to our small core group of Weather Ready ambassadors. That's when we had 40 people signed up. Now we have over 500 organizations, businesses, and agencies and offices that are part of the Weather Ready Nation Ambassador Program. So we're one of the most robust in the United States at this point. And so we would like to pride ourselves in that. This year, now that COVID is out of the way, I've been able to get what I want done for years, and we're going to be pulling up the stops in this open house. And because we have so many ambassadors, we have no choice but to take it outside instead of just in our conference room. And so we're going to be spinning up a lot of our partner agencies, Homeland Security, FEMA, U.S. Coast Guard, the Air Force Base, the Navy Base Guam. We're going to have over a dozen of our external territorial and federal government partners, the military, and other academic groups, including WERI at the University of Guam. They'll be here on site with displays and booths for people to come. We've pushed this out to the schools because we really want to engage and inspire the students to pursue careers maybe in math, science, and meteorology. We'd like to see some forecasters coming from Guam one of these days. And so we hope to inspire them. We have nearly 1,000 students signed up with field trips to come on Thursday. So we are going to be bursting out the seams with activities with the community, with students coming over here. We're excited. We partnered with the Bear Garden Mayor's office. They're assisting us with some of the logistics as well as several other mayors, but also the agencies. I cannot say thank you enough to Guam Homeland Security and to the partner agencies we're working with for the support because we cannot do it without their help. It takes a community.
So when is it?
This is a Thursday morning. We open up the doors at 8 o'clock in the morning and we'll go to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of the schools will be present because of busing scheduling between 9 o'clock and I think it's 11:30 that morning. So that's going to be the peak busy time. So if you're from the community and want to visit, come before 9 o'clock or after 11:30. But we're going to be doing a special balloon launch. We have the regularly scheduled weather balloon at 9 o'clock.
Is it Chinese? Is it Chinese balloon?
It is all American.
Totally not spying on you. Totally not for spying.
Yes, this will be all weather generated from our office. And so we have that second special release for the open house. That's going to be at 11:15 in the late morning hours so that people can partake in that as well. We're going to have the governor on site with a proclamation signing as well as Senator Amanda Shelton in her office with the legislative resolution. We are going big for this to really drive home the messages of weather and preparedness. And the World Meteorological Organization, who is the spearheader of this whole special day, states on the webpage that our weather and climate and the water cycle know no national political boundaries. So despite your political views, weather
weather doesn't care. It's hard to politicize. 821, and you know, handily, I'm glad that you're on the line here. Next phone call is going to be something that I hope will continue to encourage young people in science and math and technology here, and whether it's the weather or drones. So, Landon, I'm going to let you go. Unfortunately, going to be here in the studio for most of the work that you're talking about on Thursday. But very, very good luck. If there's anything that you need, a flyer that you want me to post up on screen, send it to me at the usual contact addresses.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Thanks, Ray.
All right, buddy. You have a fantastic rest of the day. Landon Idlet from the National Weather Service, and we go from there to another science guy, and that would be Charlie Hermosa. And you're going, well, that's the guy from APL. What's that got to do with anything? He is also with an outfit called Bella Wings, and they likewise have been growing and growing and growing over the years. It's not just drone shows. That's just one of the things that they're capable of. And like anything else, it's important that you start building up, a cadre of interest among young people to get into drone technology and drone piloting. Charlie, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning. Good morning, Real Joe. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me on. And absolutely, you're absolutely correct. I get that question all the time about the whole, APL. Like, what?
You're in the shipping business too. Yeah, the guy's a serial entrepreneur or serial something, but he's always looking for something interesting. And aviation has certainly been a big fix for him in the last several years, and trying to unpeel the onion that is drones and what all of the capabilities are of these the theretofore just kind of novelty items, almost toys, until we figure out there are ways that we can put these things to work. And drone shows are just one.
Absolutely. And, the technical aspect of the drone shows, that's something that we also want to start putting out there. But to your point, I think one of the things that we're really trying to put forth is the education programs, because I think one of the things that we're seeing is we're getting a lot of interest with folks either trying to change industries, trying to do something fun, exciting, but our sort of ecosystem, really, we believe that we have to start even earlier than that, right? We have to even start first grade, second grade, third grade. So, through GITA and the after-school program, which has been amazing, we've been able to put together an after-school program, which is going to be a 12-week program that will allow kids, unfortunately, it's limited seats, so it's going to be sort of on the first-come, first-served basis. But one of the things that we have decided is that we will have two programs. So, we'll expend everything we need to do with the first program, but then we'll also kickstart a second program. The demand on getting kids into this program has been huge. It's been huge. So, what we're going to do is we're going to divide the program into two sides. Obviously the central part where we can cater towards the Jigo, Dededo, Tamuning, Barragata area, but then we're also going to go down south. So we've made a plan with the mayor in Narahan. He's been kind enough to let us use his community center there.
Yeah.
And then so we're also going to kickstart the program down there as well. So that the kids don't have to come up, we're going to take the program to them, and they're going to go through the same 12-week program, 12-week lesson system. And then, at the end, it's really, we're going to have a pinning ceremony, right? Because they're also going to graduate, from the academy and all that good stuff. So, are
we going to do a pinning program like the Navy SEALs, where you put the pin in without the backing and you punch it in?
We're going to encourage that.
Yes,
we're going to encourage that stuff. So that really kind of brings it to the next level. So, but yeah, so it's going to be very insightful for the parents to see. And then outside of these two programs, we're also going to select 4 villages where we're going to hold weekend workshops, where we want to invite the kids and the parents to come, so that they can get a little bit more exposure on the safety guidelines and everything else, but then also make it fun from an educational standpoint for the different villages. So the outreach is very important to us, and all we want to do is really it takes one change, right, to impact one kid. And I remember I was just talking to somebody about this. I remember growing up, there was an after-school program. It was held every Friday after school. And during that time period, it was 3 or 4 months long, I looked forward to Friday afternoon, meeting up with kids that I didn't necessarily go to school with. And then we just did everything from arts and crafts, sports. So I think we got to bring that back a little bit. I think that, just from the excitement that we have from the people involved in this, from the instructors, all volunteers, and putting forth a program that will allow these kids to really think and utilize their skills, right? Because most of them are gamers. It's really impactful for us, and it's really about the kids. That's really the fundamentals behind everything we do, no matter what we do moving forward. If we don't have the bench and the kids and everybody in school, middle school, high school, college, revving up to back us up in everything that we're doing, it's never going to go anywhere.
Agree.
So,
Yep, man. That's why I jump at the chance to talk to you about this. 8:27 in the morning. How do people get involved?
So we're going to be putting out the information. We're finalizing the details of the start date, and so we sent out the little teaser. But you can look. We've started a separate tab in our webpage at www.bellowingsaviation.com, and it's under the Junior Drone Program. And as soon as we announce the registration opened up, we will open up the website there, and people can either request information, request to see how they can help. Multiple ways. We'll be reaching out to the communities that we want to make this sort of a community program. So, but really, really great things are really coming ahead. And I think the demand already, as soon as the teaser went out yesterday, we probably could have filled the entire, classroom. So, but we definitely want to have a good balance of kids there.
Bertha Maza Cruz online says, I'd like to get my grandson in that program. So as soon as you've got details, send them over to me. I'll get them. We'll put them on the radio and the TV thing that we do here in the morning and make sure everybody knows. And once it's time, you and Perla can come in and talk more about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the last plug, just real quick, Ray, was the fact that we just we'll be announcing this week as well. But we just signed on the Bellowing manufacturing side. We just finalized the licensing deal. So we're going to be manufacturing the drone systems, landing systems with a company out of Chicago.
Wow.
So they're gonna so in the next 6 months we're going to be setting up a warehouse looking for engineers, electrical folks, folks that know how to cut aluminum. You name it. It's going to be pretty exciting once we announce that. But that's the only thing we do. We've got to keep moving forward. And I think the drone industry is just at the infancy. And there's a lot more that we can do. So
I'm excited. I'm excited about the concept of Made on Guam. That's heady. 8:29, Charlie. You have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll see you.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Right on, buddy. 888-8255, 888-TALK is the telephone number. Mean Machine definitely online here this morning, and yes, celebrity birthdays are coming up in a second. And Jose Martinez online absolutely nailed it. One of my favorite Matthew Broderick movies. Everybody goes, it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was the big deal, wasn't it? In my mind, it was a show that he did with the late great Marlon Brando called The Freshman. Had you ever seen it?
I have.
It was good. Wondering out loud what that Komodo dragon tastes like,
back
right?
Now. Yeah.
Donady says, okay, maybe you shouldn't watch that movie. We'll go over other celebrity birthdays and other Matthew Broderick stories in just a little bit. In the meantime, we'll jump into our last big look at news and headlines right after these.
KFC's Lent menu is filled with so many seafood options, it's enough to keep you going for the entire Lenten season. They're all here. Popcorn shrimp, fish fillets, shrimp and crab Killiquin wraps, and our famous KFC shrimp burger. And now you can mix and match chicken and fish in both 6 and 12-piece family meals with sides and biscuits. KFC's Lent menu is available for a limited time at all KFC restaurants and for delivery at kfcguam.com or WhatsApp 300-3278. KFC, it's finger-licking good for Lent.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
24 hours ago. We might as well just find that song here. Just throw that in the mix here, the bumper stuff here. 8:31 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. We have a hard time doing this. Disclosure time. You might be wondering, hey, some radio stations will use songs like you could hear on the radio. We can't do that here. And if we do, what happens is that Facebook doesn't like it. It will still allow the stream, but you can't tell who's. It will not count the number of viewers, and then we run into copyright issues. So it's easier for us to just go and find non-copyrighted, almost NPR sounding songs and play those in the background. So where we are now, it's 8:32. It's time for our last big look at news and headlines. And what an interesting news day it has been. Yes, Donna D, what happened?
Despite Governor Lulian Guerrero's repeated calls for the legislature to hold a special session on Senator Joe San Augustine's Bill 24, which would appropriate $23 million to back a 22% raise for GovGuam employees, Guam senators said no 4 times. The special session was moved to 2 o'clock this afternoon following a motion made by Senator Chris Barnett, who said the body is pending an emergency session to deal with very urgent matters relative to Guam's public schools. And UOG has been working with the Pacific Americans with Disabilities Act Center to conduct research to identify barriers that people with disabilities face accessing healthcare on island. UOG is calling on individuals with disabilities and healthcare workers to join the focus group study. School of Health Assistant Professor Rosalyn Babauta says they want to see 2 sides in the research, the patient side and the healthcare provider's side. Babauta is hoping for at least 10 adult participants 18 years old and older. And Cortec Foundation is looking to award $5,000 scholarships to exceptionally promising students. The total award this year is $50,000. Selected graduating high school seniors will be able to use the scholarship to attend a U.S. accredited 4-year college or university. Applicants must reside on Guam, submit 3 letters of recommendation, and the application no later than 5 o'clock on Friday, April 14. Applications are online at Cortec International, cortecintl.com/foundation. And that was your last look at local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray. You're such a dork.
What's so dorky about that picture? I don't get it. I don't get what's so dorky about that.
Maybe it's your glasses.
Okay, all right. Well, so number one, I'm looking at that picture. I'm gazing in admiration of that picture. Because look at how much hair I've got. Yeah. Right there on the top. This flopsy hair that I had, it was just thick and everywhere, and it was long. I can tell by looking at the picture. It's the kind of length that my mother would have said, son, go get a haircut. But the glasses, you know what those are?
What?
Those are original Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Sunglasses?
Yes,
look at
they were the original aviators, right? You can't find them anymore. I have not been able to find aviator sunglasses. You can find Ray-Ban aviator-looking sunglasses, but the difference between that is obviously I took out the sunglasses lens and put regular, because I needed glasses back then. I was nearsighted, so I changed out the lenses. The guy at Gibson's, he always did the work for me, and the Ray-Ban glasses they had that little bone piece right in the front. They also had, and I don't think you can find these anymore. They also had the clips, the little C clips that went from the temple around behind your ears. So I could be involved in a variety of roughneck activities and not have to worry about losing my glasses.
Cool.
So these were the opposite of nerd glasses. These were like,
I guess it's how you wear them.
Go in Mach 4. Go in Mach 4.
Hey, Top Gun was a big movie back then, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been the premiere. I'm not sure. I'm just happy to see Catherine was drinking beer with me.
Wait, who's that lady next to you? To right, your left. The picture right.
In the middle?
No, the one on the very edge.
The American woman.
Yes.
No clue whatsoever.
Oh, man, I was going to say she looks familiar.
Colonizer.
Somebody's mom. I don't know. She's grandmother by now. I think that's the case with the other 2 women in the picture. 8:35 in the Ray Gibson Show. Trips down memory lane. Yay, how much fun is that? All right, so what am I supposed to do? We already did the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can go into celebrity birthdays?
Mm-hmm.
And let's into celebrity birthdays then. Shall we? I forgot where I put it. All right. Timothy Dalton.
Oh, he's handsome.
Penny Dreadful. I think I watched all of the Penny Dreadfuls.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, so one of the reasons why I captivated watching Penny Dreadful was because of the way that he did his sideburns. The hair
chops.
comes down to here, and then there's nothing. His beard goes. It stops.
Wasn't he
It doesn't
James
go all the
Bond
way
at
up to
one
the.
point?
He did 2 James Bond movies.
Okay.
I don't know why, but everybody puts him down as their least favorite James Bond.
I noticed.
And I did, which is amazing. I thought he did pretty good in the movies. Maybe miscast, but he took it for what it was worth. Comedian Brad Hall from Saturday Night Live turned 64 years old. Here's another great actor, Gary Oldman.
Oh, my favorite villain.
From The Professional.
The Professional.
When he bites into that butyl nitrate and he goes bam high and he starts killing everybody.
The Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. He was awesome in Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Book of Eli. Book of Eli.
He has a villain face.
Yeah.
Immortal Beloved. He played Beethoven in Immortal
He's
Beloved.
a great
Oh, he did?
actor.
Yeah. What was the one? Air Force One. He was the terrorist that got into a scrap with Harrison Ford, right?
Yes.
We're nailing it this
He's
morning.
great.
Yay! I better stop before I make a mistake. Matthew Broderick, like I said, celebrating his 60th birthday today. And among the great Matthew Broderick movies, yes, they're all up on the screen for you to see. Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Yay.
War Games.
Yeah.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
The producers, you gotta watch
There's
it.
the producers.
Joshua.
I promise I'll watch that. He was in Glory with Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. Can you imagine that lineup? How much fun they must have had making it. Here's a lineup. Just these two. We got Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick in the Freshman. My father and I would watch that. He'd put it on because he liked it so much. I remember being crazy about the election cable guy, which is more of a John Kerry vehicle.
Cable guy.
I didn't know he was in The Lion King.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, he's Simba.
Was he?
Simba?
Yeah, the older Simba, not baby Simba.
Oh, okay,
Remember
okay.
when he started living
yeah.
with Timon and Pumbaa?
Yes, I remember. He did grow up. All right, so we got Biloxi Blues, which is a fine movie when it came out. He played a weird character in Lady Hawk. I never really understood that movie, and I don't think I've given it the time. One of these days, maybe I will. Inspector Gadget, and I'm looking to see if are we now running into some of the other ones. I don't remember Family Business, and you can count on me. So I'm just going to leave it to the original ones. Everything from Biloxi Blues over to the left. So happy birthday to Matthew Broderick, and what a great day for all the big Matthew Broderick fans that are out there. Other important things that we're celebrating today. Rosie O'Donnell is 60 years old. Oh my God, Rosie O'Donnell and Matthew Broderick are the same age.
Wow.
How's that?
Okay.
Rosie
Never mind.
O'Donnell and Matthew Broderick are the same age. Let that roll around in your head for a second. All right. What are we celebrating? International Day of Forest, blah, blah, blah. Memory Day, Agriculture Day, blah, blah, blah. California Strawberry Day. Common Courtesy Day. That's gone. If you just watch...
yeah, it's so rare. They just have to have one day for it.
Follow Clown World on Twitter, and you'll note that for the most part, common courtesy is
I
gone.
thought it was Follow Clown World Day.
You might want to... I'm going to see if I can find the other one that I look at on Twitter a lot, just because it's amusing to me. Criminals Getting Justice is, I think, the tag. Yeah, Criminals Getting Justice. And what it is it's like TikTok for watching people get their asses kicked.
I love it.
Oh, it's great. It's a criminal doing something stupid, and then bam, all of a sudden karma comes and gets him, or all of a sudden, the crowd comes and gets him. There's one. My favorite one is this bully, that's beating up on a kid, and a bigger kid takes on the bully and just absolutely UFCs him, and he's got the guy pinned on the ground, and he calls the kid that was getting beat up by the original kid getting beat up. And
get some licks in.
Yeah, you want to get? I don't want to. And so the other kid was like, okay, I don't want. I just want to be done. Just tell him not to hurt me anymore. And the guy says, no. And he goes to the bully that's pinned on the ground. Says, call him daddy. Call him daddy right now. You call that guy daddy. Loud so everybody can hear you. It was absolutely goes. Every bullied kid in the world must have felt some kind of personal vindication on that. Crunchy Taco Day on Tuesday. Oh, my. We can do that. There's a big deal. You ever once in a while get a taco and it's soft, and I'm going, no, that's not how I wanted it. And why doesn't Taco Bell make chicken soft tacos anymore?
They don't?
Man. I looked for it on the menu. I could not find it.
I like the Doritos taco.
It's okay. Just get Doritos in the bag. I got World Poetry Day, World Down Syndrome Day, World Puppetry Day, and World Tattoo Day. Tattoo Shauna, we got a day for you. Tattoo Shauna, the officially unofficial tattoo artist of the Ray Gibson Show, because she's done some artwork on me and pretty much everybody I know. So if you're looking for some place to go and get one, look up on the Facebook Live, Shauna Fujikawa Stickles. That's the lady that we go to. If for no other reason, advice. The only thing that she has not given me usable advice on is where to put my tattoos. The latest round of tattoo ideas that I have on my body, in such a way that I don't appear effeminate. How's the word? How's that word? That's a good word. All right, groovy. It's 8:41 in the morning. Where do I put my little fairy angel butterfly tattoo, Real Joe?
Lower back.
My own tramp stamp. It's 8:42 on the Ray Gibson Show. Donna D's got to get out of here. We got the rest of the hour to kill.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
It's March Madness month on GTA. That means big discounts and awesome giveaways. Come into GTA today and get the all-new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra with a 200 megapixel camera and advanced photography. Your selfie will look amazing day or night. Purchase a Samsung Galaxy S23 series smartphone and get on our best unlimited plan for as low as $65 a month. Plus get a free $200 Payless gift card when you open a new line. Terms and conditions apply. Offer good while supplies last. Smartphone month at GTA. We start with you.
Okay, got you. 8:43 Ray Gibson Show portions brought to you by the team over at Subway. Eat fresh and eat the Subway series. What's that? It's, what is it, 11, 12, a dozen or so of the ways that they are making your favorite sandwiches now. Now, I'm a big old, BMT guy from back in the day, but there is a number 4 that I absolutely love. They got more protein in it, all kinds of different breads to choose from, and all kinds of fixings that you can put on top of it. Order by name or number on Guam and Saipan, and enjoy the Subway artist rendering of your favorite sandwiches at Subway. Eat fresh. All right, looks like things have cleared up. 8:43, looking at the traffic gizmo to see if there's anything that you need to worry about, and it doesn't look like there is. Most of the intersection traffic at the north end of town looks like it is dissipated. Likewise, what we're seeing down in the Tamuning area, 8, 10, and 16, looking pretty good. So the day has officially begun. Might still be some wet roadways that you need to consider before you hit the road and enjoy that. I'm told that Eric Rosario is already at work over at Candid. Is that true, Cousin Troy?
Yeah, he's actually they might be live right now. I'm just making my way to the office. That's live.
Yeah, I did not get the notification that they are live here just yet. I wasn't looking, but I don't think I've seen anything just yet on what the movements are over at the legislature. And my, what an interesting day it was at the legislature yesterday. No,
it was my favorite day in Guam in a long time.
All right, well, I've got my reasons, and I think yours and mine run parallel, because it was very, very clear that the legislature is not taking orders from Adelup.
I love it. I haven't seen this since, like, B.J. Cruz is the Speaker of the legislature.
Right.
And I know Speaker Terlaki has tried to be that voice of checks and balances, but for a while she was kind of, either on her own, or she had a few Republicans who were supporting her, but it just wasn't enough. But now you have a majority of the legislature that's like, I'm sorry, what was that, Governor? You wanted us to, you're demanding for us to do what? Yeah, up yours, Governor.
Yes, that's exactly how I'm perceiving it. It is the big fungo, right? We don't work for you. We are our own branch of government, and and it's funny because they were hammering them to get together over at the legislature yesterday on something that they've all committed to anyway. I mean, we're going to do the raise thing. We got more questions that we'd like to ask, and we've got more documentation that we'd like to read, but we've also have promised to take care of the kids in the schools. So I mean, that's our priority is getting, putting the kids in educational situations that aren't going to kill them.
Their politics makes no sense, because if they're hoping to rally the rank and file against the senators and say, oh, you know what, they don't support the raises, what are they going to do when the senators eventually pass the raises before her April 1st deadline? Like, what are they? There's no damage to be done to those senators. Matter of fact, they'll come out looking like heroes to those rank and file employees. But as they're going through this strategy, what essentially they're doing is anchoring the general public and the private sector workers to kind of, like, hey, what about us? We're the ones who have to pay for this.
Well, there's a question
over public schools that are in disrepair. So this political strategy just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that is something that I brought up with Chris in the last hour of the program as I was talking to him. Okay, so I'm not sure what vat of money fixing the schools is going to come from. I'm not sure what vat of money all of the pay raises are going to get paid from, and I don't know where the vat of money is that the LEAP money is going to come from if they decide that they're going to do that third round. There's 3 measures that are going before the body in just a couple of days, and I don't know by Thursday, after all the conversations that are taking place today, I don't know if that money's going to be there.
Yeah, and so I think maybe that is the rush. What the rush is all about is, and I think Senator Barnett kind of alluded to it. He said, first come, first serve. If they pass this $30 million first, there might not be $24 million for the raises. Maybe the amount goes down to $15 million or something, which goes along with what Senator Chris Duenas was saying, was let's have a sliding scale or just cut out the 6-figure government employees from that 22% raise, which, think about it, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, or do what Joanna did, the 54-40 dance, where, you make $100,000, 54 is not that much percentage-wise, but if you're making $20,000 and all of a sudden somebody gives you $5,000, that's a significant chunk of walking around money that you didn't have before. It will make a bigger difference in your life. Then there's this is interesting. Here's some questions from Juan Carlos Benitez. Where was the emergency session for addressing our crime problem? Where was the emergency session for addressing the drug epidemic? Where's the emergency session for fixing our pools and public bathrooms?
But the voters of Guam called that emergency session when they elected Doug Moylan. So
yeah.
We got that covered.
Yeah, we're moving through things. Well, I tell you what, I'm delighted to see what has been going on at the legislature yesterday. The education bills are either on track or headed to where they're supposed to be so that they can get acted on. I'm also kind of delighted to see the degree of, I think Chris referred to it as peak Carlo Branch in the 5 pages worth of veto letter that the governor's office sent down to the speaker.
Carlos is a very good writer and a brilliant person, but I would just have a couple of cautions just as a former political person. One is don't fall into that same dark period that the administration fell into the last time he was there, and it was when the pandemic was all the rage and all that yucky stuff coming out of Adelup, while he was there. The second is what I like to call second-term syndrome that really a whole bunch of governors have fallen to. And it's when you're coming off the hubris of, winning your reelection mixed with, you're sick and tired of the criticisms and, then you get this sense of entitlement to doing whatever it is that you want to do. And then you say, you know what, I don't have to face another election again. I can do what I want to. And then, halfway through your second term, you start to take your foot off the pedal. The Leandro administration is exhibiting the same symptoms that previous second-term administrations have exhibited, and it's not a good thing. I think she should learn from history.
Just what do you mean? Keep the foot on the gas. Try to keep the messages positive.
And not necessarily, but don't be so arrogant about things. Try to work with the legislature. Don't act like you're entitled to something just because you're the governor with a second term. Mm-hmm. You're not entitled to hold back information from the public. The media is not your enemy. You do need to answer to people's questions, and you should be taking criticism. You should be looking at criticism as something that can help you to improve your administration.
Well, I don't know. It's my island, Ray. Looking at, but she's not the only one to saying it's my island. The governor, and the admiral, the more I read, the more I'm getting these quotes. I get this weird sense because I don't know that any admiral in quite some time has been this mired in Guam politics. Normally they're kind of, hands off. Dave Lotz said so in his editorial yesterday that it would have been a good idea for him to, let the governor and the legislature sort things out. But he's jumped in now, looking like he is siding with the governor on this. And then the other part is he's saying things like, The entire lease document has not been made public. Navy Rear Admiral Benjamin Nicholson last week said it will become public after it's signed. And
Yeah,
I'm going, whoa, wait, hey, to say, I'm a resident here, and I don't know what over 2 years now, which is, according to another section of this article, you've managed to negotiate in there. I live here. I pay taxes here. I expect top of the line health care out of here. And I want to know what it is that we have been committed to and how we're going to pay for all of that in the future. Governor says this negotiation has been going on for a couple of years. Did you know that, Troy?
Yes, we're the ones who broke the story, and when we got the FOIA, and we got all the documents going back to the Secretary of the Navy's letter saying that he intended to declare the land as excess. So that's changed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They've spent the last 2 years. It might end up being a waste of time if the legislature overrides your veto this Friday. But they've spent the last 2 years doing this when they could have spent the last 2 years building a hospital at Hospital Point.
Wow. But it's not sexy. As somebody pointed out here, isn't that her backyard? She didn't want a hospital back there again.
I mean, why wouldn't you want a hospital?
The traffic and the noise and ambulances going up and down and in and out.
She has a hospital in her backyard now. I mean, it's a nice area. It's a nice backyard when you think about it.
Well, I kind of, sort of had a lot of friends and grew up around there. It was a great after-school party place when we were kids back in the day. 8:53 in the morning. So we've got the continuing questions about the hospital veto, pay raises, and like I said, I just worry that by the time they're all done solving those problems, we aren't going to have any money left for the LEAP program. I'm sure that they're not going to make me eligible for it this time. We'll wait and see. But one of the other things that I was talking about, and I brought a great smile to my face because he did not deny. He did not come out and say, well, Ray, come on, I'd just like to deal with today's problems. I don't think I want to think about what life is going to be like for me or what my political situation might be in another 3.5 years. I'd suggested that the picture on today's front page of the Guam Daily Post, Therese Terlai, Chris Barnett, and the Sanahi of Strength. I said, I'm looking at a picture of the next governor and lieutenant governor. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think that's partially what's at play here, why there's just this pushback from the governor and why she went berserk yesterday, calling them into session 4 times.
Everybody said that Chris Barnett missed a great opportunity to read the governor's speech in her voice.
Eric and Johnny were asking yesterday when he was doing that, do you think he's just battling it? Do you think he really wants to read it in her voice?
Right?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
I think he was battling.
Maybe you can read some of the letters to the deal today. We'll see what happens. 8:55 on the Ray Gibson Show. So much more to get to between here and there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think they have recognized that the Democratic Party of Lou turning into the Democratic Party of Josh faces severe competition from the likes of Therese Terlai and Chris Barnett.
But I don't know how what they're doing at Adelup is helping the lieutenant governor. I think what they're doing is hurting you. But maybe they don't see that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something.
No, it's easier to, as our granddaddies said, it's easier to attract flies with honey than it is with vinegar. And maybe the smart play here would be stop putting your unction on display and go down there, send the lieutenant governor down there, and have him visibly being a part of the solution.
And not everything has to be a fight. Yes, you have to fight for what's right. Yes, you have to debate things out. But not everything has to be, nothing has to be petty the way yesterday was. Yesterday was just petty, throwing them into session 4 times, just impeding progress, basically. When they told you they're going to address that matter at 2 p.m. today.
Right. Unbelievable. Well, listen, there's so much more going on. What are you going to be working on today? Anything fun?
I reached out to our friends over in the CNMI, and I was like, you guys, please don't have a hold my beer moment with Guam because there's just not enough hours in the day. So we do have some CNMI stuff that we need to get out that's sort of been on hold because of the craziness of Guam.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's going to be more about the that $300-some million and trying to get answers to that. We have an answer from the congressman, which basically is we need to look into that.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
I don't think there's been much of an effort to stop us from losing these federal funds. I don't know. I'm still waiting on our FOIA of documents to show whether the governor or the superintendent or anyone, and I'm not talking about Judy Wampat, I'm talking about Francis Pontus and John Fernandez, what were they doing to address this crisis now?
That's inquiring minds kind of questions, and I don't know what's going to be happening with that. I think Francie's got a job now over with Take Care. I think that's interesting. I don't know to what degree he's involved in the Department of Education or the administration at this point anymore. Back nestled in the private sector, and I don't know. I mean, I could find John Fernandez, I suppose, to get a couple of words from him on. What happened since you left? I mean, was your juggling skills, were they that good that you were able to keep all of those balls in the air and for a large part of the operation invisible to everybody, and then once you were gone, all of those balls just fall to the ground and nobody knew how to pick it up and move from there?
It feels like that's what happened. Like John Fernandez was just a super manager or something,
right?
And after him, Francis Pontus, I don't know, maybe he didn't know how to do it as well as John Fernandez. I don't know, but what we do know is that there's $300-some million in education stabilization funds that have yet to be obligated and spent, and we're at risk of losing a whole bunch of that come September 30 of this year, and then all of it September 30 of next year. And DOE doesn't have the capacity, according to our current procurement laws, to deal with that. Beginning in 2011, from 2009 to 2011, and they don't have it now.
We're talking about the basic stuff, not what happens if there's a protest, right? Because there's one measure that they're working on at the legislature today that should take care of that.
Just taking care of protests that's just one part of it.
Right. Okay. So it's still the expertise and getting the guys in there. 8:59 and change. I don't know how to solve that problem. I'm not going to try to bloviate on it today. I'll work on it and come up with an excuse for him tomorrow. Cousin Troy, always a delight talking with you.
Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day.
You know it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You're darn close to it. Radio stations, KUSG, again, 93.3, Pika's Best. This is The Point. Fox News is coming up. And you remember I was telling you earlier about our healthcare partners? Well, they're here. And if you know somebody that has got some skills in the nursing field, I know a nurse. She won't leave the job she's got, but I know a nurse. But it might be a role for you to play over at Guam Regional Medical City. We'll uncover details and talk to some of the folks over at GRMC about that very thing on the other side of Fox News. That's coming up next. KUSG Agana, here it comes. Fox
They're
News.
keeping an eye on it. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The White House says it's monitoring the sit-down between the leaders of China and Russia as Ukraine is a major topic.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby at the White House briefing said it's not certain what the gist of Chinese leader Xi Jinping's talk with Russian President Vladimir Putin will be about. As it relates to Ukraine, Kirby says,
China has, as you know, not condemned the war, but they haven't provided lethal weapons.
Because of that, Kirby says it's hoped Russian troops will end the war by pulling out. If there is an end to be negotiated, the U.S. will help, but
nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine.
Meaning President Zelensky must be at that bargaining table. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A former advisor to a one-time Trump lawyer, Michael Cohen, is accusing Cohen of lying about payments made to porn star Stormy Daniels on Trump's behalf. Robert Costello testified before a Manhattan grand jury today.
You think a guy whose mindset right at that moment is a lie, cheat, steal, shoot somebody, whatever it takes, I'm not going to jail. Well, he went to jail. And now he's on the revenge tour.
Meanwhile, law enforcement says they don't expect Trump to be arraigned until next week, and a virtual option has been taken off the table as the Manhattan DA is opposed to it. Miami Beach putting a curfew in effect over the weekend due to violence during spring break, including 2 deadly shootings and rowdy crowds. The city banned alcohol sales after 2 a.m., but
we cannot balance public safety with business. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just true. If people are getting shot on the street, then we're going to act. And that's just the way it is.
Mayor Dan Gelber, the curfew ended this morning, but the city commission decided against another one this coming weekend. Actor and comedian Jason Sudeikis is at the White House this afternoon promoting mental health awareness. America is listening to Fox News.
Take Care recently moved to its new location at the Century Plaza in Tamuning. Take Care customer service, administration, claims, membership accounting services, FHP Home Health and Hospice, and FHP Vision Center are all now located at the top floor of the Century Plaza in Tamuning. If you need any assistance, please call customer service at 671-647-3526. Email customer service at takecareasia.com or visit takecareasia.com. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
Listening to Fox News.
The family of a young man killed in South Carolina 8 years ago is exhuming his body after a once wealthy attorney was found guilty of 2 other murders.
The mother of Stephen Smith says they are using money from their GoFundMe to exhume his body. Stephen was found killed on the side of a road not far from Alec Murdaugh's property in 2015. Investigators initially said he was hit by a car, but attorneys and case watchers have questioned the lack of evidence that a vehicle was involved. At that time, Stephen and Buster Murdaugh, Alec's oldest son, were classmates. Buster says in a statement he is aware of baseless rumors circulating about him and Stephen. He denies any involvement in his death. After Buster's mother and brother were killed, investigators said they were reopening the Smith investigation. Smith's mother said after her son's death, Alec, who was an attorney, called her and offered to represent her. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Your electric vehicle may be totaled in an accident for an unexpected reason.
Down at the scrapyard, electric vehicle batteries are piling up. Despite talk of sustainability, turns out there's no way to repair them after a wreck, even though they're worth tens of thousands of dollars, up to half an EV's cost. So insurers find themselves writing off entire vehicles, totaling them over a scratched or slightly damaged electric battery. Reuters reports EV salvage sales on low-mileage Teslas, Nissan, Hyundai, Stellantis, BMWs. Industry experts predict unless the repairability issue in EV batteries is fixed, batteries will continue to pile up, and EV insurance premiums could pile up for drivers. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
Amazon set to eliminate another 9,000 jobs. CEO Andy Jassy sending a memo to employees that the cuts would mark the second largest round of layoffs in the company's history. Amazon had already cut 18,000 jobs in the past few months. This time the cuts will be hit its cloud computing unit, AWS, and its advertising business. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Celebrating Mess tomorrow, Whopper Wednesday is back. Every Wednesday in March, visit participating Burger King restaurants and say, I love the Whopper, or guaidza si Whopper, and get a free flame grilled Whopper sandwich with the purchase of any large size Whopper combo meal. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Coca-Cola, and tell your familia and friends and enjoy your Whopper Wednesday only in March. Available at BK and Hagåtña, Tumon Bay, the Micronesia Mall, and the airport. Since Masi Guam, you rule.
Is it my turn? Am I ready
There you
now?
go.
6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. And a bunch of guests in the studio now wishing that they were more caffeinated than they are. And they're just going to have to get through that. At any rate, portions of the program are brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And there is a pickup truck in your future. It's called the Frontier. You can find it at Nissan Guam. You go online now, nissanguam.com, and learn a little bit more about it. Find out about the horsepower, 310, towing power, 6,700 pounds of torque underneath that thing. Redesigned from the ground up, super secure and super safe. I'm amazed at all the safety features that are built into what is basically a truck, but it's a nice ride. Go test drive it today. You could win grills and coolers and canopies and even money up to $1,000. Speaking of money, they know you don't have any. Because I'm putting together the March Madness bracket, and none of my teams made it in there, so I don't have any money. No down payment when you buy your Frontier, and the first 3 payments are on them. It'll be June or so before you have to open your wallet for anything. That's the way they're doing that at NissanGuam.com.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
All cruises are like that. You weren't able to see that, but Real Joe Cruz doing it. It's a family shout, right? I've got one of my other favorite cruises in the studio. Jennifer Cruz from Guam Regional Medical City is in the studio, along with Brianne Villanueva and Eric Plinsky. How you guys doing? Everybody good?
Great to be back, Ray.
Well, yeah. Well, you were supposed to be here last week, and then
we had a little pause. We had to reconvene to get all our documents ready to talk about today's topic.
Oh,
we were beefing things up.
All I got was the basic questions that I ignore anyway.
I know. Yeah, you shoot from the hip.
We'll work through all of that. Well, no, because it's an interesting world that we live in these days, and I remember going to the doctors, going to the clinics, going to the hospital, always surrounded by nurses. Now it's a little bit more difficult to tell who's what anymore. Doctors, nurses, there are boy nurses now, and there are girl doctors. And we didn't have that when I was a little boy. That was an occurrence that happened a little bit later on. But was always kind of interesting, and the support that I looked to from when I was a kid, if I had to get a shot, was I would look towards the angelic face of my Auntie Annie Berdalio. Who was everybody's favorite nurse in the whole wide world, and she was in the clinic, and she'd tell me this: just grit your teeth, buck up, and you're going to get a shot, and it's going to hurt for a second, but after that, you're going to be all right. And so that I've got this innate trust in me for people in the nurse profession. We were just talking about my buddy Andrew over at Guam Regional Medical City, and nurse practitioner, as a matter of fact. And so we'll start with that question, if you don't mind. What is the difference between, and I'm asking this in all sincerity, I really don't know, a nurse practitioner and nurse?
Well, they're advanced practice nurses, nurse practitioner. They have extensive training. They have additional training, and they specialize. So with Andy, I think he's a family nurse practitioner, and they can prescribe medications. They can see patients. So that's the level of care. They're advanced practice.
Okay, but like you said, we can specialize in these things as well. Okay,
correct.
All right, so let me just open the file folder a little bit wider. So we're always looking for nurses. Everybody in the industry between here is looking for nurses, and then we start talking about NPs, and now what specifics are we looking for? What are the sidelines that we'd like to see them being able to perform in? What specialties?
Oh, all specialties. Med-surg, telemetry, ICU, OR PACU, cath lab, emergency departments, and radiology.
Some of the things that you were talking about there didn't exist 10, 15 years ago. I mean, there have been some changes in the industries, as you will.
Well,
what with the new technology?
We didn't have a cath lab before.
We didn't need. Yeah, I was going to say you didn't need one until GRMC opened up.
Well, we medevaced everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I came from GMH and I worked there for 20 years. So we medevaced everybody that had a heart attack.
Yeah.
had a stroke.
So if you've got those kind of skills, I guess what this is what this is going to end up being in this conversation, Eric, is this is a help wanted ad. for GRMC.
We're serious. We stepped up our game. We're not here to compete with GMH. We're here to compete with the nation for nurses, and we are competitive against the nation. In fact, with the recent increase we did with our wages, when you look at state averages, there's a publication called Becker's. They kind of do an annual survey of doctors' wages, nurses. So when you look at it's taking 2021 data, so it's a bit outdated, but that's the most recent. California was the highest paying state for nurses. They had an average mean wage of about $59 an hour.
Well, they're also the third most expensive state to live in.
Right? You got to look at that too. Hawaii's number 2.
Hawaii is the number 1 most expensive state to live in.
And they're about $55 an hour. And guess what?
Did you do Massachusetts?
GRMC's number 3. A little over $54 an hour average mean pay per hour. So we're if you look at it that way, we're number 3 in the nation. We pay nurses now anywhere from $31 an hour up to about $66.40 an hour base pay. I mean, there's all kinds of differentials on top of that. So we're competitive. This is done, as you know, with the pandemic. We and GMH both had to bring in travel nurses. You know, many times travel nurses exceeded local
As a
nurses,
bachelor,
right?
I'd like to say thank you. I met many of them.
The problem is they come and they go. It's like, it's musical chairs, right? And for continuity of care for patients and absorbing the culture of the hospital and being able to provide that quality care, you can't do it with musical chairs. And it creates disruption and anxiety amongst local direct hire nurses when they know these folks are coming in. Now, the real people are making money are these agencies, right? They at one point during the pandemic, we were paying $225 an hour for a nurse to a travel agency who maybe they pay half that to the nurse, and then they make the difference. So we thought, we need the nurses. We need continuity. Why don't we invest in direct hire? We'll still save money, actually, but we're now focused on getting direct hire nurses, many of which might be travelers converting over.
But, the ones that liked it here, and there were more than 1 or 2 that have decided to stay. 913, and I've got to suggest that that for Brianne, the talent, what is it, the talent acquisition manager, HR, if you were hiring over at GRMC, this has got to be just the big pressure job that you've got is number 1 to make sure that you've got the people that are there to back up the doctors and all the specialties at Guam Regional Medical City. But there's got to be a little bit more that factors into all of that. Hearing Eric talk about working alongside somebody that's making $55 an hour, and that's pretty good if you're a direct hire. But working next to somebody that's pulling down $225, $250 an hour, there's got to be a morale hit that you guys got to take. How do you control that? How do you?
You know what, we see it, but a lot of our travelers right now, they're wanting to stay and work with GRMC, become local hires. So they love Guam, they love the island, and we're very happy about that. They love the team that they're in, they love the department they're working in, so they want to stay and become one of us.
And so the salaries that you guys are offering are, as you pointed out, competitive and now attractive to these.
Well, remember the $225, is not what the nurse gets, right? So that's not that price anymore. We're probably in the $125. It's a supply and demand thing, right? So we're now pandemic is weakened or gone, and so $125. But how much does a nurse get out of that? Let's say maybe take half that. I don't know what it would be, but so you're up against that. But there, we also now have benefits. We promote work-life balance. A lot of these travelers who go in other hospitals, they're getting worked to the bone. And they're not the new generation. Ray, I think we grew up in a time where the philosophy was there'll be plenty of time to rest when you're dead.
Yes.
That's not the philosophy anymore.
That's not what they're looking for.
I'll sleep on the plane.
Yeah, they want their work-life balance.
So we're talking about longish vacations, and we'll talk about another travel agency, the kind that will get you down to Bali or to Singapore, Tokyo.
We're talking 3 days a week is our goal. Our goal is 3 12-hour shifts per week. That gives you 4 days, to explore the island and relax with family or travel. That's the goal.
What about the Philippines? I'm not talking about going there on a trip. I'm talking. Are you recruiting?
We have. We actually just recruited. Bree, you want to mention?
We have
50
a total,
nurses.
Yeah, we have about 50 that we've done, not just specifically for Philippines, but we've been recruiting from. We have some from Nigeria. We have some from Korea, Brazil, and then
Philippines.
We're working with the Philippines, correct?
I was going to say, so in addition to that, then you're also a travel agent and an immigrations lawyer.
We got
Do-
all
do-
the-
Well,
Function along
this
those
is
lines?
trial and error because when we first opened, we did the H2B route,
Uh-huh.
and that was too difficult for us. So this time around, we got smarter, and we did the green card route. So it's less paperwork. Yeah.
So now, talking about getting people into Guam Regional Medical City, nurse practitioner, virtually, I want to say all scrub jobs. You've got a sign for saying, okay, if you've got any medical skills, and I've been saying for the last 20 years, if you've got kids and you don't know what to do with them, and you don't know, push them in the direction of any field where you have to wear scrubs, and that might be in medical records, it might be running radiology, it might be
Pharmacy.
Oh my God, pharmacy.
Radiology.
I'm
And did you know
I should have gone to pharmacy school.
Did you know pharmacy now is a doctorate degree?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Minimum. Oh, yeah. Even physical therapy. It's pharmacy is a PharmD, and then physical therapy is a DPT.
So I'm going to do some low-key dad bragging here. Miami's graduating from Academy in May, and has been accepted into the physical therapy at USF.
Oh wow!
At
Congratulations!
No, can you help me pay? Is there a way? Is it? No, I'm going to ask this as seriously as I can. So, can you give me money to pay USF so when she comes back and she's got the PT that you guys hire? Is there a scholarship program? Is there something like that?
We're looking at loan forgiveness. We haven't figured it out
we have
yet.
to be
We're working
competitive.
on
We're
it.
looking at benefit
we're working on
structures
it.
that attract and retain nurses, but one of the big ones is realizing how much debt some of these folks go into obtaining, and doctors as well, right?
You're looking at
now,
it.
we're a for-profit hospital, so unfortunately we don't qualify like some of these nonprofits or government hospitals where the federal government can waive your debt, right? So we're likely not going to be able to compete maybe at that level where it just all goes away, but we're looking at assistance in those debt repayment and subsidizing how we can come.
Well, what
to
an
that.
interesting conversation. We were all at the gubernatorial debate that was thrown by GMA-GMS, and that was a question that was oft repeated: is how do we attract talent and how do we maintain that
And
talent?
that's what they're looking for.
Well, I think the answer sometimes is in our young kids. Kids at and so that internship program that she took. I think she was a sophomore.
The Shine program. I remember when she did the Shine program. Yeah, she did the Shine program.
She wanted to come back.
Yeah, I know.
I'd pick her up from the hospital, and I'd say, "How's your day going?" She says, "Oh, I got to tell you about my patient." And it was when I heard her say "my patient," that's how I knew that she was taking ownership, that she was serious about this. And it was just a little bit after that she announced to mom and dad that she wasn't interested in law school anymore. She found exactly what she wanted to do, and now the strategy is, all right. So I go, like, it's already done. I'm going to go to PT. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get my PT, all the certification, everything that I need to come back. And how do I make it so I can work at GRMC? How do I make it so I can work over at?
Tell her to see me.
That's what I was going to say.
She knows me. I love it. She can see me. There you go.
So how do we spread this affection for healthcare to all of our kids? What do we got to do? Is there a charter school that we ought to be hitting up right now and say, let's see if we can bring these kids in?
What I was going to say is the Shine program really helps. We see a lot of returning students. We actually see a lot of our candidates come from the Shine program, and now they're working with us. They're working as patient safety assistants because they're in nursing school. They're working as patient safety assistants because they want to be in ERT. So they're still coming back to GRMC.
Yeah, we created the patient safety assistant because we need sitters for our patients. So we created that, and we found that a lot of the people that were applying were going to nursing school or they're considering nursing school.
Yes.
So we said, perfect. We'll hire you part-time. Go to school. We encourage you to go to school, and we can help you pay for your tuition. We have a tuition reimbursement program, and they're loving it. We have actually more than half of them.
There's a lot that
trying to go to nursing school.
They continue.
I think one already is in nursing school. They started their classes.
Okay, I've got a nursing school, not a candidate. She's actually in school. She works for me and in another part of the radio station. And she's like, it's one of those where I got to go, okay, when do I have you? When are you going to be in class? And I try to support her as much as possible because I think, she's not going to be radio forever and ever and ever. But I want to support her as she's making her way through these.
And I hope you do.
I know how difficult it is to get into nursing school.
Yes, it's very difficult.
Even here.
Yes, it's hard. It is hard. But UG, I'm a product of UG Nursing School.
Good.
Go Tritons. But it is a very good program. I have to say, they have 100% pass rate. It's very difficult to get in, but hey, they can back it up.
Well, so how do we get more chairs for the students?
Well, I think you need more faculty. So that's something that as nurse leaders, we need to work on.
Can you teach? Is that something that the
I have a master's degree
Yeah.
in nursing, so I can qualify for like adjunct faculty. I can like teach clinicals. Yeah, so
But
yes, that's what they use. They use the nurses in the community to teach clinicals.
I was going to say, yeah. So
They do.
it just seems to me that there's a whole lot of answers to that question. I
Yeah.
think most kids, when they go to a nursing program here on Guam, that's where they want to work, is at a hospital or facility here on Guam. And maybe we'll see what happens. Now, you've been in the game long enough. You remember all those nurses that got hired and are working in New York from before GRMC back in the day? There was a big hiring spree, and they pulled out a whole lot of significant talent here. Any chance we might be able to get some of the off-island Guamanian nurses back?
Actually, that happened to us during the pandemic.
Oh,
yeah. They saw how lucrative the $225 an hour, making $10,000 a week. They're like, oh, I want that. So we actually lost 10 med-surg nurses to that. But since we increased our salaries, we got 8 or 9 of them. Oh, no, 8 returned.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we reached out to them and said, hey.
Well, the grass isn't always greener.
Well, yeah, they realized that too. But we said, hey, the pandemic's winding down. We know the travel pay is going down. We raised our salaries. Are you ready to come back? Yeah.
Ray, on top of that, this is where we really stepped up our game. So on top of the wage we talked about, then if you're in the States, and this is really for the local community listening right now, first of all, if they come in, we have some real critical areas of need. Telemetry, which is heart monitoring, and the intensive care unit, adult intensive care unit. If you are willing to come into that, even if you're not trained and certified in that area, it's an $8,000 signing bonus, okay? $8,000, that's on island or off island. Come join us in telemetry or ICU. We'll train you. We'll coach you up, even if you're not from that area. Now, if you're in the mainland, Alaska, Hawaii, up to $15,000 relocation expense reimbursement. So, come join us in Tele. You can get $15,000 support for your relocation.
Now I know why healthcare is so expensive.
$8,000 for the signing bonus.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning, along with all of these differential pays. I mean, as an example, if you're an experienced nurse of over 16 years of experience, that likely you may be certified, okay? Certification pay, if you're certified in the area you're working, you're going to get 15% on top of what your base pay was. So if you're $66.40 an hour is your base, for, times 15%, you probably can be a charge nurse in charge of some folks and a coach for these new nurses. That's called preceptor. If you just work 3 days a week, those are 3 12-hour shifts, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's $156,000 a year. That's $156,000 a year for a experienced nurse. I mean, 3 days a week.
Yeah, well, you're talking me out of my job.
It's not too late.
Well, no, I'm like my GPA was negative. It is far too late for me. I'll just have to watch my daughter do this from dad afar. You guys aren't as you know, you're not the only healthcare facility on Guam. And how many of your potential nurse practitioner candidates might be working right now at GMH, at Navy Hospital, at a variety of clinics all over the island?
Nurse practitioner?
Well, RNs were focused right now.
Okay,
RNs.
Yeah, RNs. And, I just want to reiterate that we need both hospitals. We need both hospitals. We need to coexist.
So I worked for you for 3 days, and I worked for.
And that's
we're
fine.
okay with that.
And
We
that's
have some
fine. We
employees
are
doing
very
that.
okay with that. We have to help each other out. But what we can't do is rob Peter to pay Paul. We can't just keep saying, "Oh, you're upset. Come and work with us." We can't. We have to help each other out. So that's why we had to raise our rates so we can be competitive and go off island. UOG graduates an average of 30 nurses a year. Just 30. So we're
How many
both.
stay?
Most of them stay, unless they're military. Some of them will leave, of course, but most of them stay. And we just can't do this anymore. 30 is not enough every year for both hospitals. So
how many? We got quite a few of the graduating classes
last year because we raised our rates.
Yeah.
And then this year, this year's going to be even tougher because they're graduating 17 nurses. And that's because of the pandemic. They had to decrease their cohorts for clinicals because of COVID. So it's going to be tougher now because
the pool has just gotten less deep. Understood.
Yeah. So we're trying to recruit off island.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's another thing, Ray, that to emphasize why we're trying to bring new nurses into the island to supplement what we already have, the shortage, and that is something called the referral bonus. Okay, so the referral bonus, and this may where you play a role too. If anyone can refer a nurse, and we prefer the way you do it is by email to hr@grmc.gu. You introduce us to a candidate in the states, in Hawaii, Alaska, or the 50 states, D.C. if you want to add that.
A lot of people listening here in those places.
So if you just introduce us to that nurse, we take it from there in the email. We are going to give them our pitch, and if they join us for 2 years, that's $750 per nurse that you referred and joins our team.
Turn them in.
$750. That's
in.
you mentioned in the start of the show, people didn't have any money to do something, so here's a good way to earn some.
I'm going to ask you, Nurse Jen, if you would put your, I'm sorry, not Nurse Jen, the other nurse, Jennifer Cruz, to put the headphones on. No, well, I don't want to confuse everybody because there are two good-looking Nurse Jens on Guam, and this one here is married. Bob Kelly is on the line. He had some comments about nurses, and I thought you'd be the perfect one to address them. Bob, go ahead, you're on.
Sure. Well, there is a potential good nurse, graduate of Eastern College in Manila, top in her class and top on her nurse exam, would like to come to Guam. I'm trying to set everything up. But Guam has a speed bump, very interesting in taking the NCLEX test, and that is you can only apply for the NCLEX test in Guam if you have a Social Security number. To get a Social Security number, you have to get a visa. To get the visa to be a nurse, you have to pass the NCLEX. Other states, such as New York, Delaware, even the CNMI, don't have that requirement. And she's going to her group to try to, the management group there, to try to see about taking the exam to be able to come to Guam. And they're recommending she not come to Guam, but go to New York where you don't need it, and then work there several years and come to Guam. Now it's like a long way around when all we need to do is get a provision that the nurses can take the test without a Social Security number and then apply for their license and visa and get the Social Security number before they start work.
So actually, a lot of the Philippine nurses, they go to Saipan. So if she takes the exam through Saipan and she passes, she could actually endorse her license to Guam. So she can come to Guam. Does she need a visa?
Well, yeah, she'll need the visa. She can get a visa for tourists, but right now she needs a work visa, and that's what you need to get. But why don't we get that eliminated? And why are we putting this barrier if we need nurses in Guam of having this? Why is this a law that needs to go to the legislature? Do I need to contact my senators? Is this just something on the nursing board? Why don't we make the change?
It will be the nursing board. I'm not in the board, so I wouldn't know, but I know it's the nursing board.
So the solution to the problem would be the nursing board?
It would probably be the nursing board, and they probably have a reason for it. I just don't know.
928. Bob, we'll see what we can find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we're going to recruit, and there's a lot of Filipinos that would like to come to Guam, let's not put this stupid barrier in front of it. If 20 states can take people without a Social Security number and endorse them for the NCLEX, why don't we do the same thing for Guam?
Yeah. Why does that sound to me like it was somebody's idea to I don't know, pander to what we've got already locally that was already kind of brought into the family? We don't need any outside competition, so we'll put a roadblock in.
And a comment about Northern Marianas. We were told it would take 6 months to a year to process the Northern Marianas to take the NCLEX, where it can be granted by New York in 30 days. And I guess they can possibly also endorse. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, let me. Bob, thanks for the call. I appreciate your time again. 929. Is there? Like, is the NCLEX, is this some kind of like high holy? Is this like the bar exam?
That's the nursing board exam, yes, to be an RN.
Okay, so can, like Guam Regional Medical City, you've got educational facilities downstairs around the cafeterias. We'll get everybody in a room and we'll give them their tests.
I wish it was that easy. But there's test centers, specific test centers. That are dedicated to do that. So I'm not sure. There is one here in Guam, obviously. Yeah, there's dedicated test centers for that.
But we couldn't just put together our own little boutique on the side business?
I wish we could do that.
Again, what would it take? To go to the nursing board and have them change up the rules or allow for a little bit more democratization of the testing facilities?
You mean to allow them to take the test is what he's asking for?
Yeah.
Yes. They would have to check with the board.
Who do you think, Eric?
Yeah.
Well,
I can speak to Zena.
I can speak
to Zena though, because I know Zena's in the board, Zena Piscina, so I can ask her.
What would it take to
I'm
change
confused.
that?
I thought a few years ago they allowed you to take the NCLEX in the Philippines, that you didn't even need
They
to come.
stopped because of cheating.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah,
Okay.
something about someone was cheating or something like that.
So they abruptly stopped the
Yeah.
entire program?
They stopped it, yeah.
So
I heard.
So is there a body of the Philippines that does their own testing unrelated to the NCLEX? How do they get certified there?
They have
in
to,
the Philippines.
For the NCLEX, they
Yeah.
have to fly out to take the exam.
Oh wow!
Mhm.
Oh wow! I can see where that could be an issue. And years and years and years ago, maybe there was a reason for it. But given the healthcare climate that we have today, the requirement, the demands for, like I said, anybody that wears scrubs that works in a hospital or a clinic is anymore a high demand employee. And you are high-demand employers.
Right. It makes it a little more difficult in the Philippines recruiting a nurse because they're not trained in school to take the NCLEX like they are in the U.S. So it's usually likely they're going to have a whole separate NCLEX training program. Probably smart on the government of the Philippines, right? Because if you train them all to get the NCLEX, the faster they're all gone. So I guess maybe that's why they don't require it. They have a better chance maybe retaining some of their own. But
I forget the connections between Guam Regional Medical City and Medical City in the Philippines here. Are there opportunities for sharing back and forth?
If they're NCLEX certified, pass the NCLEX, and they got the visa thing takes time. So right now, Ray, here's the thing: we get nurses. All the local product coming out of the schools get consumed by all the providers right now, and there's a big shortage. So we need 50. We need 50 right now. 50 nurses. Particularly in the telemetry and the ICU, but and that just keeps growing. We keep expanding our services, so it's never ending. I'm sure GMH is probably similar, and so that is we're looking everywhere, but it takes more time in the Philippines and abroad than it does if we can get some folks in here from the States. So that's why there's the extra incentives for the ones coming from the States.
So in case you haven't heard, everybody got a raise over at Guam Regional Medical City in those fields, and they're hiring for more. And if you've got the interest and the skills, where does that email go again? How do we get a hold of Bree?
Yeah, it's
HR@grmc.gu.
The easy way.
HR for human resource. Yeah, HR@grmc.gu.
All right. Well, it's always an eye-opening conversation, going on with GRMC. What else is going on there? I mean, did you get accredited for something else again? Did you get the higher, bigger, better, badder stroke center accreditation?
We're Advanced Primary Stroke Center certified by the Joint Commission. Our next goal is whether we can pull that off in 2023. I'm not sure yet. Is 24 hours, 24/7 STEMI. That's cardiac, intervention for heart attacks.
Okay.
We have a interventional cardiologist coming in August. He's coming full time with us. We currently have some locums. These are folks that come in
Temps.
for 13 weeks, whatever the time frame is, and so we are doing interventional cardiology. But when we get our full-timer here, and we want to actually have 2 equivalent full-timers so that we can do 24/7, 365 heart attack, assistance, attack the heart attack. Right?
So have things gotten back to normal, whatever normal was before COVID-19, have things gotten about back to normal?
Pretty much.
I think we're exceeding where we ever were before, and we're bringing in, we have a rheumatologist coming in full-time. It'll be, I think, the first full-time, or the only full-time rheumatologist in Guam. We got a new radiation oncologist going to be arriving. And we got a second orthopedic surgeon that'll be coming in the next 3 months. So there's backlog in orthopedics. That's going to help us take care of those hips, knees, and this one will even do shoulders.
And we're installing our second CT scanner soon.
That's right.
We have a second CT scanner. We need that backup for our strokes.
I was going to say, how many slices is that?
The first one is 256, and now the new one, the second one is 128.
All right, so significant resolution improvements.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So when I was a little boy, a long, long time ago, when we were first opening up the doors over at Guam Regional City, Dr. Mike Cruz walked me around. And showed me, it was really a terrific kind of day, because we were among the first journalists that had the opportunity to go, up and down all the floors. And one of the places that he took me to, and I remember looking at the equipment, I said, this looks like baby equipment. There's little baby incubators and little monitoring stations. And it looked like GRMC was going to be in the big baby business, and not so much anymore, huh? That changed a few years back?
Yeah.
November 2018, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, what we
It was
did,
a
Ray, is
challenge.
we looked at, we came into the market and we had, population. In fact, if you look at 2020 census versus 2010, we had a population drop.
Yeah.
Really. Hopefully when the Marines arrive, it'll bring it back up. But, when you got too high, double the cost to do the business and the population stays the same, you got two hospitals competing for the same market.
Yep,
And
mommies.
we were geared for a lot of the adult specialty care. That we have neuronavigation system in the OR to do neurosurgery. So what we found is we were having a maternal child health unit that's labor delivery, neonatal intensive care with the incubators, pediatrics and pediatric intensive care. Those wards at best were 50% full. Meanwhile, we've got patients needing ICU, telemetry. They're in the hallways of the ED waiting for beds, right? Those units are full. So we thought, maybe two hospitals are going to struggle to do maternal child health, while the real demand that we can service is adult. We need more beds. So we suspended, closed down those units, converted 24 labor delivery rooms into medical surgical rooms, and let GMH, who had been doing a great job of delivering babies and taking care of moms before we ever came about, and that's a focus for them now, so they get all that business, and we took in and we're doing more of the highly specialized care.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the decision.
It makes good economic sense and helps both hospitals to be able to stand up. And so, they'd always done, as one of my doctor buddies says, we do good babies over at Guam Memorial Hospital. I hope that they find some money to give Dr. Shea so that he can make the improvements that he wants to in the labor and delivery area.
Maybe the new hospital.
Maybe the new. Oh, okay. See, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you did, so the question. There's many questions that are in orbit around the new hospital, and we can fight all day about the location. I just worry about. While all of the attention is going to get paid and all of the planning and all the money for hospital is going to go to the new one, I worry about the old one. It's already in lousy shape. Yeah. And we've got to make sure that it stays a decent hospital for the people to go to until the new one is built.
Yep.
And
I know,
so,
Ray. I used to work there.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think it's gotten any better.
Exactly what it's like.
Mm-hmm. So
I worked there during the typhoons. It's leaking everywhere.
No,
so,
I can only imagine.
I feel for my friends there.
So how do we do that? How do we? Because it always feels like they're getting ignored now. What's going to happen now? We're already buying the bassinet and the baby, all the stuff for the new hospital. I'm trying to make an analogy. It's clumsy, but we've got the grown kid over here, but we're expecting a new baby over there, and all of the attention is going in that direction. And I just worry that the things will continue to get more and more dilapidated.
Yeah. But they have a great team there, the facilities team. I mean, you got to hand it to them. They just know how to get in there and patch up that building because they're really good at it, and you got to hand it to them.
Well, it looks like they're going to have they will have jobs. You want to talk about permanent employment between now and
well,
and there.
You know what? Working there, I mean, they're very resilient. So they know what to do and stuff, and they make it happen. I know with the limited resources that they have.
Well, I think they're lucky they got friends like John Benevente over at the Guam Power Authority. Has got his guys going in there on a regular basis and making sure that big electrical switch that they've got continues to work.
Yeah. But, we just have to continue to support each other in any way we can and whatever we got to do because we need both hospitals.
I appreciate that sentiment and imagine what the world is going to be like when there's a third and on a great big medical campus. Personally, I'd like to see that over where the old hospital was.
I was born there.
All of us were born, but for the most part. Most of us were born there. Wow. Well, you're too young to be a GRMC baby. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to expect some kind of off-final delivery, and then of course we've got Eric, who was not born. He was just I don't want to say it was hatched. He just evolved into existence. He was breathed into existence.
He's tomorrow now.
Listen, I appreciate you guys coming by here. Like I said, whenever GRMC's in the studio, it's always an eye opener, and for something as basic, it's interesting when I've got the intervention and the radiation guys and all these other specialties you have. They're always very interesting interviews, but at the end of the day, the work that the doctors and the surgeons do rely on having good nurses backing them up. And so thanks very much for illuminating me on that, number one. And number two, the idea that they are hiring. GRMC is hiring, and if you've got the skills, they're looking for RNs. But really, if you've got the skills, they'll talk to you.
Or even if you don't have the skills, we will train you.
Yeah, I'm not
Just
trainable.
You need the RN license.
We will. We will train you.
Like I said, I was negative GPA, so I don't know if they're going to let me into that program. I had a friend of mine many years ago was trying to get into the nursing program at the University of Guam, and she had a tiny blemish on her educational record. You know, it's like having bad credit. And when they reviewed all of the paperwork that she had going in to the RN program, they said, "No, I'm sorry. Based on that, you know, we're not going to be able to let you in. We've got other people that have got perfect academic records and perfect bona fides, and they got in there." And her response was, "Can you talk to your Uncle Robert about this?" And even he wasn't able to get them to bend the rules to let her in. That's how aggressive this program is. They're looking for candidates that will take those chairs, that belong in those chairs, really want to be in those chairs. You know, as you say, 100% graduation rate.
Oh yeah, pass rate.
Pass rate. 100% pass rate, and
it's a
then
very good program.
You've got jobs waiting for you at the end. That's why you want your kids to get the best grades of all. 9:41 in the morning, guys. Thanks for coming in. Going to take a break and figure out how we're going to kill the next 20 minutes.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggan from Security Title, and in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi I Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Chili's has just rolled out the best version yet of the 3 for $15 meal deal. Mix and match your choice of beverage and starter with the larger selection of entrees. Enjoy crowd favorite dishes like the honey chipotle chicken crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or the juicy Santa Fe burger. There's so many combinations to choose from that you might have to three-peat to try them all. So come on down and make your own 3 for $15 meal deal. At Chili's, more life and great value happen here.
You ever, Joe, listen to a conversation on the radio or something and hear people start talking about wages and salaries that you could have made? Maybe a few, as Sister said, would just apply yourself a little bit more. Yeah. You know, he's a funny kid, your kid. He's a classroom clown, makes everybody laugh and smile and everything. But boy, his grades, his no homework skills whatsoever, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that the nun said that about you. I'm saying the nun said that about me every time Mom had to go in for teachers. Oh wait, we're doing that now, aren't we? It's parent teacher time. It's about
that time.
Yeah, I think it is about that time. So I don't know if I'd had the opportunity. Wait, I did. I just didn't pay any attention to it. When I was 16 years old, the furthest thing from my mind was anything that didn't involve working at a radio station and girls. And it's still kind of that way. And it's not as though I was some great, academic wonder even before then. So I don't know. And there were only a couple of guys that were all that interested in going to doctor schools, and they were the ones that were in the astronomical levels of education at Father Duenas. Yeah, frankly, most of the rest of us were just going, okay, I just need to graduate. I just need to make it between here and graduation. I wonder how many kids are doing that now. Like as we're speaking, I know my daughter. I think she just had her exams. And Songfest is over for her. And I want to say Songfest is over for Duenas guys, which means for all intents and purposes, they're just killing time between
downhill from here.
Yeah, between now and the baccalaureate and now and graduation. It occurs to me, and every time it does, it freaks me out, is my daughter, and many of you have been listening to me since the day she was born, because that's about the time that I started doing regular weekday talk radio. And I remember very clearly the day that she was born, like all daddies do. And now it is a moment of amazement that she is over 18 and in less than 60 days going to be graduating from high school.
Wow, man.
I know. And going to does she have to go to actual San Francisco to be a student at USF? Do you know?
I think so.
So and I've decided I'm not going to send them to her, but every once in a while I've because I'm on Twitter so much, there are images, videos, and things like that of cities that were once great mighty cities that are now just skid row, urban squalor, drugs, prostitution, etc. And more often than not, they are San Francisco, and so I'd send her a couple of those. I'd send her a couple of those images, those videos, saying, "Okay, honey, enjoy your time at USF, and just never go to this street ever. Even you might be 175 years old. I don't ever want you going to this street because there's people that are shooting themselves up with drugs right at that street." In the middle of the day, in front of police officers, and San Francisco does nothing about it.
It's needles they got from the government.
Exactly. So hurry up. That's it with your education, and then get home. It's 9:47. As I said, I was wondering how I was going to kill the next 10, 15 minutes of the program that we've got between you and I. I think we bothered all of the movers and shakers and headline makers. The only one on the list that I really wanted to talk to was Therese Terlai. Missed the opportunity this morning. She is not a regular on the program. We feel very lucky when we do get to speak to her. But I don't know. Yes, so lucky. But I don't know that our conversations with her today would have been any different than the one we had with Senator Chris Barnett. What a great pair they make.
God, I hate that I love him.
Wouldn't it be incredible if he was to become the next governor or lieutenant governor of Guam with Therese Terlai in that partnership? Yeah.
I'm not saying we approve that message, but
I'm endorsing the hell out of that. I'm gonna do that. You know, the same way that we talk about Ken Leon Guerrero as the other governor, Leon Guerrero. We say that because it triggers people at Adelup. It really does. This is my new trigger for Adelup. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is a picture of the next governor and lieutenant governor of Guam, Darrell Chris Barnett and Therese Terlai, and I don't even care what order they go in on. Now, the last time I was this confident about a pair coming out of the legislature was when I'd see pictures of Jimmy Craig and Mary Torres.
Yeah.
That would, and we even had for a while, I had a picture of them. And I had a buddy of mine that was pretty good at like Canva or Photoshop or something, and I had him dress it up like it was a political ad, and then threw it out into social media. Just flung it out into social media, and the response that I got was, "Hey man, what do you know? Is that really going to happen? Could that happen? That wouldn't be so bad, would it?" I don't know, but This has legs. I know it has legs.
It's got nice legs,
and the people over at Adelup know it has legs. And they want to keep the dynasty together. They want 16 years worth of Lou and Josh. They want Lou and Josh for the first 8 years, and then Josh and whoever in the next 8 years. So that I'm sure that's the dream job.
Where would they put Lou? At the new hospital?
Well, she can just retire and be a grandmother. I mean,
she could.
Yeah, good-looking, kids,
Women's
good-looking
affairs.
grandkids. Yeah. All right. So the other thing that I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about is today's opinion section in the PDN. Bob Klitsky will read to you the op-ed that they've got here. What can you do to clean up the island's parks and beaches? former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez and his writers got together for the Tourism Works column. I won't read all of it, just a section here that kind of is up in my line. The object of the editorial today is the Carl Gutierrez Challenge, which is go find someplace and clean it up. Stop bitching and moaning and whining about how bad people are, and at some point, go get a couple of bags of garbage, bend over, and pick up somebody else's crap. It will come down to that. There are already numerous groups that are doing it. I'm familiar with a group of friends on over the weekend. You know that little Nevermind road they've got between Home Depot and Marine Corps Drive? Yeah, constantly. Anyway, so they went in, and I want to say they got 3 truckloads of trash and a whole bunch of other stuff. Fortunately, they were able to do something with it. But and they it's one of my favorite things about this group. They do it with absolutely no fanfare. There are pictures taken, but it only circulates among the group. Oh, it doesn't go out. They don't do one of these, hey, look at us. You know, I got my 50-cent gloves, and I'm sitting on a pile of trash cans. Oh, look at me. I'm a nice guy or whatever.
50 cents? Where? Where do I do that?
Look at the little white gloves with
the red hands?
Yeah, with the red hands on it. Bro, I'm here to tell you, those are the best. I go hiking, and I've got my, the expensive. I go to Home Depot. I said, money's, never mind. Take my money. I just get these gloves, right? And they last, for a little bit, depending on how many trails I go on. But, after a while, it's like they get just kind of mahangy, and you feel bad because you're throwing them away. But, when you grab swordgrass, when you're pulling on swordgrass, and you can feel it cutting through the glove into your fingers, you're going, okay, that's enough of that. But you get those little cheap ones, the little white gloves with the red stuff on it. Now, they might not last forever, but they're cheap. What the hell? You can buy them by the dozens. I have yet to meet a blade of swordgrass that could make it through on the first day of using them. Just saying. But the former governor, is saying now, if you're looking to start somewhere, whining and moaning or action and results, what businesses in the vicinity of Oka Point can re-beautify this terrible eyesore for our community and foreign guests, so we can all enjoy the scenic overlook without being distracted by the tipped-over cars and junk metal threatening their health and safety? How about the neglected Fort Labugan overlooking Agana Bay, Agana Heights, and the capital city of Agana from atop legendary Nimitz Hill? Can the Navy, Merchant Marines, or Coast Guard lead the charge? Can the Air Force, or Guam Army, or National Guard assist? Actually, I think the National Guard is already in charge of the Chief Kipua Loop. And it needs a little bit more work. It's been a few months, and that requires, I'm not saying constant, but regular maintenance up there. So we'll take you guys out of that one, put everybody else in. Will the businesses that run the Alupang Beach Tower Waterfront Hotel and Condominium ever own up to its responsibility to maintain East Agana as promised? He's the only one that remembers that promise, unfortunately. If resources are lacking, how can we help? I'm a fan of this section of his editorial today because I pass by on a regular basis Fort Labugan, and I remember with great pride taking people up to Fort Labugan. You got somebody, visitor from the States or something, and you go, wow, I'm going to bring you someplace, breathtaking view of the northern end of town. You see everything, both oceans from up there. But that was when Ray Tenorio was in charge of the Island Beautification Task Force. Since Ray's been gone, there is still an Island Beautification Task Force, but they don't care about Fort Labugan. And the crazy thing is it is exactly 1 mile from the governor's office, or should I say the lieutenant governor's office. It is exactly 1 mile from there. The last time I was up, somebody had gone and dumped some what looked like industrial waste, had an abandoned vehicle there that was pushed over onto its side so they could get the catalytic converter out of it. And left it there as a danger I hope that somebody's able to take care of all of that. I don't know if the governor was able to do anything with it, despite my trying to embarrass Josh by telling him within a mile of his office, the Island Beautification Task Force. Wait, I'll do it this way. A mile away from another meeting of the Island Beautification Task Force is where you can find this dilapidated eyesore that should be a crowning jewel. Now, somebody's going to say, but it's private property, Raymond. To which I respond, well, yeah, help a brother out. Help a brother out. I don't go, and that's not me, bragging and patting myself on the shoulder, because I know so many other guys that do it too. But I live here, and when I go to the beach, I always bring a bag with me. 2 reasons. Number one, that's where the ice came from. So I don't throw that bag away until after I've put all my beach stuff down. And this is a nice section of Tumont, too. It really bothers me. It gets trashed. And before I lay down into the sand, before I press my buttocks into that beautiful Tumont sand, I walk around about 25 feet in both directions. And if there's any beer cans, bottles, the food trays or whatever, I pick that up and I put that away first. So at least the area around me is a little bit more appealing. And people ask why you do that. It's because I live here. I care. And I hope that everybody that lives here and cares can figure it out. There used to be, and I don't know if they're still up to it, but there used to be in Bill Hagan's Rotary Club when he was the president, there was a program, and they put together the kind of a adopt a highway thing. And the signs are still up, and many of the companies that are associated with those adopted highways, a lot of them will still go out there and do that happy labor. So maybe there needs to be more of those kinds of programs where it's not just roadways, and I'll fight you for a popular roadway, right? But so maybe it's lookouts. Maybe this lookout here is cleaned, seen after, adopted by real Joe Cruz. Yeah. All right. And I suppose finally, I've lived now for 2 days with the new and improved version of the Pacific Daily News. When you guys figure out where to either take advantage of the extra print capabilities, because you guys can do a full bleed on these, right? That is, you can take it all the way to the edge, or get really close to the edge.
You can do it.
You can do it. You can do it. You're getting there. You're still having a problem with the blacks. There's still some noise on the blacks, but a lot of the colors are starting to stand out, and I'm really digging that. There is something about the graphics when they're printed on this paper that look better, because it feels like magazine quality paper that they're using for this. So the print is looking good. You can make the fonts a little bit bigger for us old guys, but otherwise it is. I'm kind of starting to get used to it and enjoying it. I'll tell you one of the sections where where it really pops out the improvement is go to the cartoon section of the newspaper. It's the page white, and you can make everything out. Everything, the registration here is absolutely perfect, and it makes all of the cartoons just kind of pop off the page. That part I'm kind of enjoying. It's still a little thick. I don't like the idea that it doesn't fold very well like regular papers do, but I'm getting used to it. And for the most part, it makes it easier for us to see all the spelling mistakes that are there. At 9:58 and change, is it almost time to go, Joe?
It's almost time.
Have we gotten to talk about everything?
Mere seconds, almost.
Mere seconds. Okay. Okay. So I talked about that. All right. Heavy Thursday session. We talked about that. Minimum wage roundtable over at the legislature today. Chamber. I'm not going to say they sent the youngest and weakest of the Democrats to make a pitch for the minimum wage increase, but Roy Canetta is one of the new guys, and I don't know how much experience he's got down at the legislature or in government, period. But you ought to be able to dispatch this particular threat to the minimum wage if you try extra hard. That's, I don't know, kind of the sense that I've got from looking at things. I'm glad they're just starting the conversation. I hope they bring out as many experts as possible and people that are willing to do the deep dive and super analyze the numbers that we've got here on Guam to show exactly what happens to wage earners when the minimum wage goes up. Yes, their minimum wage goes up, and in many cases you see the number of hours they get to work in a week go down. So it doesn't necessarily have the impact that we hope and pray for. 10 o'clock in the morning, I got to get out of here. KUSG, I got you 93.3. Peak is best. This is The Point.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Biden used his veto power for the first time, stopping a Republican-led effort to limit considerations in determining retirement plans.
The veto rolls back a Trump-era ban that kept retirement plan managers from taking into account environmental, social, and governmental factors. Critics claim considering those issues bring political agendas into the discussion. The president said in issuing the veto, those matters should be part of determining rates because they can have an impact on investments. A 2/3 majority is needed